Seriously?
Welcome back. Return of the Mac. M.A.C. Moss Andrew Carl back in the building. Episode 175. What's happening, fellas?
Yeah.
That's good, bro.
We back.
You look good today.
Huh.
I always look good. I told you this before.
Damn, you came back converted? You take a week off and come back converted like this?
You been working out? Or
what happened is my house burned down. And the only thing that I could find are these rags to put on my back to cover my chest. And I didn't want to sit here all chest out with y'all.
Oh, well.
So I had to put this shit on.
It's crazy.
To cover myself.
Well, you look good, bro.
Thank you, sir. Quit hitting on me, but I appreciate it.
Maybe is that what I look like normally?
You look like you fresh off of work.
What you mean?
I'm just saying, I don't know.
What you mean?
That's like the fresh off of work from home look.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For those of you that are not watching right now, I'm wearing a nasty-ass Steelers jersey. We put a little bet on the game. I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
Here we are.
But, I mean, you're wearing that's a great jersey. AB in his prime right there, that's 2015 AB right there, jersey. Like, that's as good as it gets.
I would never wear this. I told Carl that I wanted a specific jersey. He all of a sudden just lost it.
Why Le'Veon?
Because he's not a part of the team. I'm not putting anybody that's on the team on my person.
Well, I mean,
I didn't realize that you were going AB is worse. I would have rather worn somebody that was on the team.
I know you didn't like AB as much, so I was like, I got to go.
I'm about to just start talking wild, reckless about the Jews and blame it on the jersey.
Wow.
That's where
we going.
That's where we're going.
It's up. I mean, it's already up now. We got a, R. Kelly supporter full blown out here. Shit's still spinning, going viral right now. That clip is going crazy.
I leave 1 week, and all of a sudden we got mad R. Kelly support and Dr. Umar on the cover of my podcast. What the fuck is going on?
Return of the M.A.C.
I can't tell you how many people reached out to me. They're like, "Yo, are you not on the podcast anymore?" They didn't even mention the Umar stuff, but I knew what they're getting at. You let them take your podcast?
Shit different now. Shit real black over there all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
Return of the Black podcast.
We did switch with the
Return of the Black.
Return of the Black is crazy.
But anyway, we got mad football to get into. We will revisit this whole Steelers-Panthers thing.
Of course.
I would like to start, though, with the other football before we go full NFL on this.
Hey, I'm down for that. The world-renowned football.
Yes, I like that. World-renowned, World Cup in the house.
Yes.
I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago on the pod, just that we had been kind of watching it, keeping up with it. World Cup's kind of interesting and shit.
It's been great.
Sunday morning, the finals.
World Cup, the championship game.
Argentina and France.
Yeah.
I swear, bro, I've gotten a little bit more into soccer from gambling and playing FIFA.
Right.
Soccer's cool. I like it. It's not my favorite. That championship was one of the best championships I've ever seen of any sport.
It's by far probably one of the greatest championships you can ever get.
It was.
Wait, so what happened? What made this so magical?
Well, to set it up, it's like, remember when like Kobe and LeBron was like a big thing? And like people was building up Kobe and LeBron to play in the finals, but of course you have the Magic fucked that up and ended up going instead of LeBron and them.
This is a really good comparison.
This is like Kobe if Kobe and LeBron matched up. M.A.C. is Kobe and Mbappe is LeBron.
Back end of his career, obvious GOAT, young stud, just
on his way out.
Dominating.
Mbappe is the guy. He's the superstar of all superstars in soccer right now. He's the guy. They matching up in this fucking championship right now. Just to set it up for you.
That's a really good comparison.
This is how big this shit is.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So then
it's been as advertised with that though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the whole time.
No, hold on, no. I'm a fucking novice. I don't know anything about soccer. Is this a series, right? Or what?
The World Cup is more similar to like The NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
right.
it's tournament style. They got group play early on to see if you get it into like the final 16. Once you're in the 16, though, it's just one and done. You're knocked out.
Yeah.
So Saturday they did the third place game. Sunday morning was the final.
Got it.
I believe it was supposed to be. I don't think there was a favored team because gambling wise, both were equal to bet on.
Pretty much.
Argentina gets
Best of
out
the best.
to a pretty early 1-0 lead, and then makes
Messi
it.
sparked it off.
Yeah, got to. Oh, that's right. It was a penalty. Got the penalty kick, get the first goal. They end up adding a second goal, and then I want to say it was like in the 70th minute. They played a 90, so we're getting pretty late into the game. They're down 2-0.
Yeah.
Soccer 2-0 lead is tough.
Right.
Hella tough.
They get a goal, and it's like, okay, might be kind of a
Fucking
decent game.
Mbappe.
Like literally 3 game minutes later, second goal to tie.
Bobby scores again.
And it's like, holy shit, they choked.
You played all this time, right?
Yeah.
The lead.
Yeah, it was dominant. The whole first, me and Moss was talking in the chat, the whole first half,
Yeah, Argentina was
France
dominant.
didn't have a shot. Didn't even get a shot on goal. So anyway, it gets to the 90th minute, still 2-2.
At the extra
They
time.
go to extra time. So got the extra 2 15-minute halves.
30 minutes, yep.
Argentina scores to take the lead back 3-2. And then I want to say it was in like the 118th minute. And they go to 120 with the overtime. France ties it up.
Mbappe get another one. Hat trick.
Hat trick. That's right. Hat trick for Mbappe.
That's crazy.
Second time in history there's been a hat trick in World Cup.
That's crazy. I didn't even
5
hear
goals
that.
between the 2 biggest stars in the fucking game.
Right.
Shit that don't happen. Shit
Yeah,
that just
usually you
don't
got
happen.
at least some
That's
other
wild.
guys.
That's wild.
Then it goes to penalty kicks, and Argentina kind of blew it out in the penalty kicks. They get 5 apiece, and
PKs.
France wasn't doing it. France
It's kind of
was
like
choking
it's
at
almost
PKs.
like the worst part of how they do overtime with the PKs because it's like the easiest situation for the kicker. It's you and the goalie. The goalie has to anticipate where you're kicking it at. You can slow down and start up. You can kick the goal any way you want. Like, you know, in NBA, you shooting your free throws. You can't, like, hesitate and do that. You can do that shit while you're doing these PKs. Like, you can get the goalie all off guard and have a wide open goal
That's
and shoot that
fucked
shit.
up.
That's how the PKs is set up. It's 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But that's how I ended up. And Argentina hit, like, 5 of them. It's best out of 5 or some shit like that, out of 5 shots.
Yeah.
Argentina hit 5. Well, they hit 4. And, France missed 2 of them, so it was done.
Yeah, so they didn't even get to the 5th one.
They didn't even get to the 5th
Oh,
one. So,
wow.
But I was listening to somebody else talking about it, and this made sense that, like, the pressure is actually all on the kicker, though. Because
It
it's
is.
like, it's accepted that it's unlikely the goalie's going to make a save.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
like,
So when
if
you miss, it's
fuck
like
it up,
shit.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like,
Because you got a
missed
wide
this
open
shit.
kick, essentially.
Basically.
Pretty much. I mean, they're so close. The goalie's just diving one way or the other, guessing and hoping
Right,
it goes
that's
that
it.
way.
That's it.
It's all you can do.
much.
But it was just incredible, man. I've watched a lot of the World Cup and stuff, and most of the games are real low scoring. So to see the final go 3-3 and get all the penalty kicks and stuff, it was just incredible. It was a really
Couldn't
great
ask for a
game.
better championship. Couldn't ask for one.
Yeah,
It was
Oh,
one
that's
of
dope,
those.
man.
Shit was fire.
agreed.
Yes, indeed. Good shit.
Well, real football,
Real football.
Real football.
Real
the
football.
American way.
That's what I know.
real
The
football.
American way.
The whole weekend was just insanity.
Yeah.
Incredible games.
First weekend of games. First Saturday of games.
Yeah, with the double days.
3 games,
That
yeah.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
But the first game is Saturday. Vikings. Why did I just go blank? Vikings Colts.
Vikings,
Yeah.
Colts.
I was about to
Vikings,
say
Colts.
Lions.
My bad, yeah.
Vikings Colts. It's 33-0 at halftime.
33-0. And I was
33 donut, bro.
I didn't watch. I had forgotten that game was even on. And you guys were talking about it and shit. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck's going on? I pull up Google just to check out the box scores and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Ryan's not playing a good game. Jonathan Taylor isn't going off.
Injured on the second play.
I didn't see it. I'm like, yo, how the fuck do they have any points right now?
Had cousin Zach Moss back there getting it in.
They had 1 touchdown for like 1 yard or something like that. So I'm
Right.
like, yo, nobody else has any scores on offense. What the fuck is going on here?
Right.
They had blocked a punt, I believe, for a touchdown.
That was the first one.
I think they had a pick six or
Gotta have
something.
a pick six. And they just had to have a bunch of field goals or something, right?
It was.
Sean
Field
Jackson
goals.
scored a touchdown, 1 yard pass.
Right. That's the only one I saw was
Yeah.
that 1 yard touchdown. I'm like, yo, how the fuck is this happening?
interception return. Yeah, it was a bunch of defensive shits. It got him up early and a bunch of field goals.
But it gets to 33-0.
Yeah.
Vikings come out of the half. Obviously, like, ready to put up a little fight. You expected they'd score a couple touchdowns. No big deal.
Right.
Make it 33-7. Colts get a field goal, make it 36-7 pretty much right away. So we're talking about 36-7 is when the Colts score with 5 minutes left in the third quarter to make it that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Still
almost
down
the
the turn.
entire comeback
Still
is
down
in
the
the
turn.
fourth quarter, for real.
Yeah.
Vikings end up getting one more touchdown in third, 36-14, and then 3 touchdowns in the fourth.
And a field goal to win it.
Overtime field goal. I don't know how you choke that. Like, I physically don't know how it's possible to even give up that many points, even if you misplay the situation.
If there's anybody that would do it, it's Mr. Matty Ice. He already held the record for the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Now
And
he has the record for
hold
the
my
biggest-
fucking beer.
Biggest comeback in NFL history, in regular season history,
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
I don't.
I feel bad for him.
I don't.
I know he's got a great career and stuff. Like, overall, most people would take
It's nuts.
his career if they could. But
This is all that he'll be remembered.
this is all he's going to be
This is
remembered
it.
for the
Not
rest of
the
his
MVP
life.
season.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
an adjective or a verb you can use his name for. It's like to describe something.
You got
like,
Matty Iced.
Yeah, you got Matty
I
Ice.
like
Or
that. I like that.
That was the Matty. He's Matty Icing it. You know, that's just what it is. It sucks to be him. And like you said, he's had a great career. Some would say a Hall of Fame caliber career. He's not gonna make it. I think just because of the negative.
That's why keep him out.
Yeah, right.
That's
Stuff like
wild.
this, though.
That'd be wild.
Like it's gonna take a while for you to make it when you got stuff like this on your resume.
Yeah.
But it was so wild to me because the thing that fucked me up was I think you saw the comeback mountain, and I think it was like fourth quarter, 8 minutes left or something like that, and Kirk Cousins throws the pick at that time, and they were maybe within a score or I'm not sure.
Might have been when it was 36-28.
Yeah, maybe 36-28, but maybe it wasn't even that. I think they were down 2 scores still at the time.
Okay.
They were down 2 scores at the time. So once he threw the pick at that time, I'm like, oh, this one's over with now. You know, that's just seal the deal. You just got to run the ball a little bit and manage the clock. And I think they ended up taking a sack or something and ended up trying to throw the ball. Like maybe a minute ran off the clock for the Vikings, and that put them right back in the game. But if they would have they could have held the ball for 2 or 3 minutes right there, the game would have been over.
I feel like if you run the ball every play that you have possession in the second half, there's no way that they have enough time.
Right, yeah,
Like,
right.
it just shouldn't be hard to kill that much time with a lead like that.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
What do we think about Saturday? Like, his responsibility within everything. Is this
Jeff
like
Saturday?
does this kill his
he's coaching
coaching
now. Now
career?
he can't never play a Saturday game again.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Coach a
Saturday is
game
not
again.
for him.
I mean,
But is this something that teams look at like, this is not a coach that we could ever, in the future, even look at? Like, does this kill his coaching career, or you think it is what it is? It's not really.
I don't think anything was going to come of his coaching career anyway. I think
Possibly.
if it wasn't for the Colts, then he would have never gotten an opportunity like this. So I don't think anything was going to happen after the season especially if they didn't have like this amazing kind of run or something, this historic run or something like that at the end of the season. So I mean, I don't think it's like an indictment on him. I think it's more of an indictment on just the Colts as an organization. Like, they are the one who appointed him as the head coach. Like, they don't have really, I guess, adequate people in a lot of spots or roles within the Colts as far as quarterback, coach, probably GM at this point, and ownership. So I don't think anybody is doing a good job or has been doing a good job for them within the last, past 5 years, probably, at least not consistent
Since Peyton
enough.
left.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were really good with Andrew Luck.
That's right. I just
They had
completely
really,
blanked
really
on
good
that.
years with him.
No, you're right.
Was it 3 AFC championships like that in a
Yeah,
row?
I just completely forgot about him.
So I think I don't
Didn't
know.
beat us though. Bitches.
Yeah, I mean, but they were a team that was on the rise, and I get that losing a franchise quarterback like that does set you back. But they went about it the wrong ways in trying to secure a guy instead of trying to develop and
real desperate
cultivate something else. They kind of tried to go out there and try to repair some guys or try to restore some people who've had success in their career.
They're putting in a bad spot.
Well, I think at first that they definitely were put in a bad spot when Luck left. But after that was when Jacoby
Brissett took
right.
over.
But that was the same. They already had Jacoby Brissett on the roster when Andrew Luck retired.
Right. But after that year is when they started trying to grab the big names that were leaving from another team.
Yeah.
And I feel like they really thought, because they had so much success under Luck, I think they felt like we have a good defense, we've got a good line. If we could just get a capable quarterback, a veteran that can just kind of manage the team, that we should be straight. And it just hasn't worked that way at all.
Yeah, I mean,
and they keep trying it. At some point, you've got to stop.
I feel like they've had runs in the past couple seasons where you're like, yo, you know what? The Colts are probably a decent team, but it's like all fell apart at the wrong time. I think last year they almost made the postseason, right? But they ended up losing like the last couple games.
Getting Jonathan Taylor.
The Jaguar game that they were supposed to win at the end of the season, and that's when the GM pretty much came out and said that they had the wrong guy quarterback the whole time. It's like, damn,
rough played them.
I mean, that was true, but I think, like I said, everybody has some responsibility in this at this point, for sure.
Can't argue with that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Anything else on that game?
No, I think
crazy comeback. They did their thing.
Yeah, that's
just calling them pansies at halftime, and then they was victorious by the end of the
game. Second game of the day, Browns-Ravens was kind of a dud. Huntley is terrible.
Yeah, what happened?
He at least was in that game. I don't want to indict his entire career, but
he was bad.
He was awful. Yeah. Couldn't make any pass.
He looked like he had never been on the field before.
Not at all.
We've seen him play good.
He did. He was coming off of concussion protocol. So that probably had something to do with it. I know he probably had like some limited practices and stuff. But, I mean, you wouldn't think they would be out there throwing the ball all over the yard or anything. I'm sure they wanted to lean on their rushing attack. I'm just looking at it, and I'm wondering why.
Dobbins was rolling.
I'm wondering why they weren't rushing the ball more. I'm counting.
Yeah, if you got a $125
between your main running backs, you only have 20 carries between Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins in a game where 13 points are scored. And I know that, like, when we look at the possessions and stuff like that, that might dictate something or state something different. But when I'm just looking at it, from the box score standpoint, it looks like they need to run the ball more.
I'm with you, because anybody that gets 125 yards on 13 carries should have more than 13 carries.
Yeah, look at Gus Edwards. He had 7 carries for 55 yards. He was getting it in, too.
But for a total of 28 carries, 200 yards, I mean, that's a lot of running.
That's a lot.
Right, but why aren't you doing this more? Because your passing isn't getting it done.
No, clearly not. Clearly not.
So you got 100. You got more rushing yards than you have passing yards by a lot.
Yeah.
I don't get why they didn't run the ball more. I would say, hey, we're only down 10 points. Let's just get on the other side of the 50 and see what happens.
Yeah,
that's what I would my goal would be. But I didn't watch the game.
That game
thoroughly.
Was terrible.
It was bad. Tucker missed 2 field goals. Absolute shot. I mean, he got 1 blocked, but he missed the easy one.
Yeah.
You're obviously not expecting that to happen, but that game was gross.
When do we expect for Deshaun Watson to pop?
I don't this year. I think it'll be next year.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him.
He's been a lot worse than I expected he would be this year. And now they got, 3 games left. I don't see that changing over the last 3 games.
Yeah, right.
So I would expect next year.
And it seems like they're making it, I mean, which they should be, they're making it like really simple for him as far as like keeping them on the move, all these boots and rollouts and stuff like that they're doing. Just it really looks like Baker. He looks like a worse version of Baker Mayfield in that offense, doesn't he? Though
I didn't really pay close enough attention.
I seen a little bit of that game, and he's not really playing like him. Like, it's a lot of opportunities I seen he had, like, to scramble and make plays and shit, and he would just throw the ball away or go down. Like, he won't play like loose like I'm used to seeing him play. He usually plays a real loose game, playmaker type of guy. And it was mad times where he had field in front of him. He just ran out of bounds or just like, yo, what's wrong with you?
he is game manager.
Yeah, that's how he's playing. He's playing like he's not trying to mess up.
Yeah,
I think, I don't know. It seems, and it makes sense because of how much time he missed this year. But it seems like he specifically is just trying to fit in. Rather than I'm the quarterback and taking the leader.
He don't pop off the field at all. He's not like, it's almost like you barely see him playing. Notice that he's playing the way he's maneuvering or whatever.
Right. So that's why I said at the beginning of the season, when I don't really see a difference between him and Jacoby Brissett. At least not right now.
In those preseason games you're talking about?
Well, yeah, just like at the beginning of the season, like I felt like, Jacoby Brissett can play just as well as Deshaun Watson would be capable of, right now. And I think that's true, judging off the handful of games he's played thus far.
I think it's true right now. I don't expect this to be the Deshaun that you see next year.
Yeah, sure.
But
yeah.
But after next year, if next year happens and he's more similar to this year than he was with the Texans, then you got a problem. And then you could start saying, I was right. You can at least start saying it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would accept it at that point.
But the thing is, it's like Cleveland's how long, and I do think it will get better, but how long do you wait if you're Cleveland? They're locked into this deal, right?
Yeah.
How long do you wait? Is he just there regardless?
Yeah, they got 5 years.
If this is 3 years down the line and it's like, man, this dude still ain't turned the clock yet. Like, what do you do?
You got him.
Yeah, it's too late. They made the choice already. They're all in.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any getting out on it.
No turning back now.
Yeah. It depends on how the contract's structured. Like if you just take it for 3 years and take the loss in the last 2 and move on. I don't know. I don't know where his guarantees line up and stuff like that.
Oh, but it's fully guaranteed. So
the entire contract?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Remember, it's $250
I remember
million.
it being the highest guaranteed contract in NFL history. I can't imagine the entire guarantee. If it is, it is. But I just can't imagine that.
They were so fucking desperate to get Deshaun Watson.
Because everybody was trying to get in.
Because remember, they were out of the deal. They had announced that Cleveland is no longer in it. They were like, I got one for you. We're going to send this over and see what you think. Fully guaranteed $250 million.
If you offer, you can't refuse.
Yeah.
Well, that's the answer to your question, then. That's the answer to your question. Yeah. There is no getting out. Yeah. This is it.
They're locked in.
So, yeah, you got to dedicate every resource that you possibly have if you're the Cleveland Browns to ensure this guy gets better than what you see right now. I don't care if that's hiring more, like offensive staffing, coaching, and stuff like that to surround them. But, that's got to happen for them.
The one thing I thought was interesting that they mentioned during the game is they said that he couldn't have a copy of the playbook until he got back from suspension. Is there any fucking chance that he didn't have the playbook?
No chance. That makes zero sense.
I don't care what the rule is, what the NFL says. There's no chance that they didn't give him a playbook and say, you didn't get this from us.
Dum-dums, he played in the preseason. You stupid fucks. Like, how are you going to let him play in the preseason and then say you can't have a copy of the playbook? This motherfucker's been looking at the playbook the entire time in training camp. You don't think you would go home and say, like, I know I got to turn this in. Why wouldn't I just make copies of it myself? Or
there's no chance.
It's no chance.
There's no chance.
It's not.
It would have been better off saying that he just don't have the chemistry with the team yet than saying he ain't got the playbook.
Right. Well,
I don't understand him not having chemistry with the team, but knowing the plays, but they ain't really ran them with nobody.
Yeah.
That's a different story, which I think is more so the issue. But
I don't remember the context.
The playbook at all is wild.
Yeah, I don't remember the context of how it was said. I don't think that it was said like they were trying to
give an excuse.
Yeah, I think they were just kind of stating it as fact. But when I heard it, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! There ain't no way he didn't have this."
Yeah,
somebody sets it on the corner and they're like, hope I don't forget to leave this here. And it's like, all right, I'm out.
That's like saying, I know he's not allowed in the facility necessarily, like while you're suspended. Yeah. But that don't mean people can't come see him. So don't mean a coach can't stop by or a teammate can't stop by and drop something off to him like, hey, this is the game plan this week, just in case you want to follow.
Right.
And I'm sure there was a lot of that going on.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Night game.
This was a great game from everything that I see, but I missed this game. I was busy. I missed this game completely. So I don't know what to say. Do y'all have any takeaways? I saw a few highlights and stuff.
First of all, which I think like the entire weekend, the fucking Vegas was in play because they made it seem like the field was covered in snow, huge snowstorm, not going to be a lot of passing going on. It's going to be a running game. Game comes on, the field is fucking clear as day.
Clear as day.
Fucking clear as shit. I was like, what the fuck? Like all day. I don't know if you've been seeing all the clips and shit. They were just showing like heavy snow.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I said.
It was making it seem like it was going to be a snowed out game.
Didn't it get to snowing pretty decent by the end of the game?
It did start snowing at the end of the game.
I think this was just a legitimate weather thing because I have like second cousins. I have like close to family that live in Buffalo that they were posting pictures like on Friday of how crazy the snow was and like the school bus not being able to get up the hill and stuff like this. And in Buffalo, that's a big deal. It ain't the school bus drivers around Lynchburg.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It was there, but I did the same thing you did. I bet
quick.
like crazy, expecting no points, no passing, and it was totally
No
not
scoring.
that. 31-29 or some shit. That's what it ends up
Total
finishing.
opposite game. They was throwing the whole fucking time.
I mean, that's what Buffalo does, and I mean that's pretty much the Dolphins' game plan too. I know they do like have some like slashing type runs in there, but they want to get the ball to their playmakers. So
I think Dolphins got to feel pretty good about that performance. I mean, it's even
the
more
first time,
victories
right?
and shit, but
They beat them the first time.
that's right. And they held their own.
they actually ran the
last
ball
score,
really well.
They kicked the field goal to win the game, right?
Mostert had a great game.
Oh, did he? He went off?
Yeah, kicked the field goal at the end to win it.
He had
a
that
dub.
long ass 67-yard run.
That's a big duddy.
Yeah, he got that speed.
No doubt.
But I mean, hey, it was a good game all throughout. Buffalo pulled it out at the end.
And then wasn't Buffalo up like 21-10 or something like that at half?
I don't know.
I know Josh Allen threw like
it was
21-14. Yeah,
he
Josh
threw a
Allen,
touchdown like with 0 time left.
He had 3
fourth.
touchdowns in the first half. I
second.
remember that. Yeah, I mean, hey, good game. I don't know if I feel great about it if I'm the Dolphins. I feel like they're trending in the wrong direction.
They've been struggling a little bit.
So, they really could have used this win a lot. But
last couple of weeks, teams kind of figured them out a little bit. They kind of like threw a little salt in their game, how they like to play in that midfield area a lot. People have been dropping their linebackers back and making them have to either throw over or throw shorter routes, which they don't. That's not what they do.
Yeah, I was hearing a lot about that too.
So yeah,
watching some of the games.
But Bills pulled it out. They hold their spot where they at.
They still number one seed, right?
Yep.
Did you see where they were throwing snowballs on the field? The fans were.
I did.
And the refs like stopped the game.
Yeah.
Or like in between one of the plays, like made an announcement. Please stop throwing snowballs at players.
Yeah.
And like said that it would be a penalty if they didn't stop.
Yeah, if they hit the other team's players, it's gonna be a penalty.
That's hilarious. If you're a
I've never seen that.
If you're a Dolphins fan, you got to start pelting players.
Right.
Like Buffalo penalty. Bow, bow, bow.
For sure. Or
That's crazy. I wondered if they would really enforce it or if they were just trying to do anything to see if they could get people to stop. But
I mean, they probably had to say something because it was getting crazy. Like every time anybody was down in that corner of the end zone, they was letting them have it with the fucking snowballs. Yeah. Everybody was getting that. I was like, damn.
Bills Mafia is fire, son. I love them.
They don't play around.
Imagine you always being the one that connected, though. You're like, yeah, that was me. You see that one?
Oh, they was connecting.
That was me, bro.
They was connecting. Fucking 50,000 people out there throwing snowballs. Yeah, they was connecting on them shits.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely getting hit with one of these.
Hilarious. Well, anything else from Saturday? We'll get to Sunday.
Nah, that was it, man. That was it.
All right, so we'll get to the Sunday games next. Go ahead and let's get this out of the way. Get this over with. Me and Carl made a bet. I already explained a little bit. This is why I'm rocking this jersey.
Steelers, Panthers.
I think this was the worst loss of the season by far. And there was 1 or 2 other games where we got beat pretty bad. But this was the most embarrassing loss that I can remember as a Panthers fan as of recent. There's a difference between being bad and you just get smacked around and shit and get like blown out. This was they could do nothing. They could do nothing. It was run the ball up the middle for no yards. Run the ball up the middle for no yards. Steelers get the ball. 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, over and over and over. There was no stopping. There was something like
constant jabs.
17 for 18 for third down or some ridiculous shit like this.
That's nuts.
To even have that many third downs it's almost a good and a bad thing because, like, of course, you're possessing the ball, but it's like 14-19 or something, some unheard of number.
There was one play that y'all threw the ball downfield more than 8 yards.
That was a George Pickens.
Catch the Pickens.
Yeah.
Every single play was a run or a pass for 4 yards, and then whatever the receiver could get afterwards.
Offense. This is what the Steelers.
Insane.
This is what the Steelers' offense wants to be. Like being able to control the ball with the run and like the short passing scheme. Would you want to mix in some more big plays because it's just not ideal to have that many long drives or well, it's not likely you'll have that. I wouldn't say ideal because you do want to possess the ball, but it's just not likely you'll have that many mistake-free long drives. At some point,
you're usually gonna have a fumble or something like that.
You're opening yourself up for those opportunities because you're possessing the ball more. So it's a good and a bad thing. But this is what their offense wants to be. This is the first time this year I've actually seen it coming to like fruition, like through an entire game.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by what they did offensively by just possessing the ball and not turning it over. I was impressed with the run defense, man, because I just thought, especially going off of last week playing Baltimore, that the Steelers' rush defense was going to leak a little bit. But man, the run was getting smashed, dog. It had no chance. I think
completely stuffed.
Y'all normally average like 160 something yards per game rushing the ball.
It was like 18.
They finished under 20 yards.
Just insanity.
Right.
Darnold even looked decent.
He played
all right. He threw the ball really well.
That
DJ Moore played really good. Terrace Marshall had a couple nice catches, but
that DJ Moore touchdown, that was a nice catch.
In the corner, yeah.
That was a great play by Darnold, too, though, man. Escaping, getting out the pocket, rolling to his right, and just firing a rocket. And, I mean, the window wasn't a big window.
No, not at all.
It was a great, great play by him. That's one of them. Those are the plays that Darnold makes, like, once or twice every year, and then it reminds you of why he was the number one or the second overall pick in the draft.
Yeah.
It's just that he can't duplicate that. Especially not in the same game.
Yeah.
But let alone, like same season type thing.
Well, I mentioned to you that Keith Taylor, the cornerback, was getting burnt every single fucking play. Every play that y'all threw the ball, it was thrown to whoever he was guarding. It happened to be Deontay a decent amount of the time. But when they'd switch, they'd throw it to whoever he was guarding still.
Pretty much. I think we've targeted J.C. Horn, from what I've seen, maybe once or twice.
I was going to say, I think maybe twice. One for like a 4-yard catch.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't realize that our actual second corner got hurt really early in the game, C.J. Henderson, so this was his backup.
Oh,
but
wow.
It doesn't matter. The whole coaching staff should be just completely embarrassed. They, the way y'all are stuffing the run, and they just refuse to run anything different. Still first and second down every single time. We're going to keep running it. On defense, made absolutely no adjustments. You obviously should have switched Horn to Deontay.
Obviously.
Pickens probably eats you up at that point, too.
Right.
But it is what it is. You have to make a fucking adjustment.
They made some terrible calls. It was the 3rd and 14 call. This was in the second half. Game. When they decided to do like a zero blitz.
Yeah.
And everybody up the line of scrimmage. And you just knew that it's 3rd and 14. Deontay Johnson everybody is one-on-one. We got a 3 wide receiver set. Everybody's one-on-one. And Deontay Johnson's man is like 10 yards off the ball. He's not pressing him or anything. Deontay has a free release. And it's of course he's going to turn inside, quick slant. Boom. It was the easiest. It's like, why would you run that defense there? Like, if anything, I might send 1 or 2 blitzers, but I'm not sending the house and leaving guys on the island for somebody.
Anybody.
Well, yeah, you can sit
14. Sit back, let Burns do what he does.
Right.
He didn't get any burn really, no pun, because they're getting rid of it immediately. You got one possession where they're actually going to have to try to throw it downfield.
Right.
Let him go work.
Right.
It was so fucking stupid. And then after the game, Wilkes, the interim, says some shit about where he took some accountability, don't get me wrong. He was like, we didn't have the guys prepared. We should make some different decisions, called out a couple players. But He said we're gonna reevaluate everybody moving forward. And they asked him about the quarterback, and he's like, we're going to reevaluate that well. He wouldn't commit to Darnold starting. Darnold's been really solid since he's been back. There was no reason not to just display full confidence in him just for your team.
Yeah, right. And
it was so fucking
and he did nothing,
stupid, man.
Egregious in that game to think like, oh, Darnold sucks. He played much better than I was expecting him to play. Like I'm critical of that because I'm like, damn. Sam Darnold made several big plays. Like y'all got some chunk plays on the defense. Yeah. I'm like, yo, these things shouldn't be happening when they can't run the ball. I can see if they were able to run it a little bit and then were able to hit some chunk plays off of play action. But no, Sam Darnold was just making some good throws. He was recognizing it. Guys were wide open, granted, but he was making the throws when he was called upon to do so. So I thought he played, pretty well overall. It's just that. If Carolina can't run the ball, it's not going to win many games.
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. Yeah. All right, well, my last thing. I'm still confused.
I was waiting for you to bring this up because we got to talk about this.
Second half, right?
This was, it had to be third quarter because this was the Steelers' last touchdown. This was the 21 play drive.
Yeah.
21 play drive.
That's ridiculous.
We get them into a decent
200-yard field. Goddamn.
Right. We get them into a decent, tough third down, and they had to check down to Deontay. And he makes 3 people miss to get the extra 3 yards.
Play.
No reason since somebody shouldn't have made the tackle. Gets the first down and gets up and starts running his mouth right away.
Right.
Gets hit with the 15-yard unsportsmanlike. The play, he got down to the 8-yard line.
Yeah.
So they say Tomlin's going off on him, and they're like, that's a huge penalty. It's now 1st and goal from the 22. They run a play, complete pass for no gain, and all of a sudden it says 2nd and 10. They end up getting 8 yards, 9 yards, and then picking up the first down. But it was 1st and goal from the 22, and then all of a sudden on 2nd down, the first down marker is 10 yards away.
All of a sudden, 1st and goal.
The announcers didn't say shit. Nobody said anything.
It literally, you know how they give you the
graphic.
It reads on the screen, the graphics on the screen. It literally switched from end goal to, second and 10. 2nd and 10. I literally saw it switch because it fucked me up because I'm like, man, we're only going to get a field goal out of this shit now. Yes. We're so close to scoring. And I don't know what happened. I can't explain it.
Vegas was working this weekend.
But honestly, that's the shit that I'll be like, man, the game's a little bit rigged. I don't know.
I've never seen something like that happen. I've seen bad calls like crazy. I've never seen just all of a sudden they change the yard markage.
Yeah, with no explanation.
That was nuts.
You would think the announcers would have called it and said, "Oh, we thought it was going to be, because they said 1st and goal when we took our first snap." Yes. I know somebody said that,
bro.
And nobody acknowledged it afterwards.
It doesn't matter. We sucked. We didn't deserve to win that game. It might not change nothing.
Steelers technically still win if they only kick 3 there.
Insane. No explanation as to how that happens. But hey, good win for y'all. Thankfully, the Bucs lost too, so we are still in our driver's seat. If we win out, we still get the playoffs. It doesn't matter what the Bucs do.
Right. Yeah,
crazy.
Wild division, but swept.
Do you remember now?
This vape fucking me up. What do I remember? What?
Yesterday, Carl says, "I think I remember that we beat y'all 7 times in a row."
Oh no,
so
no!
You remember or you don't? You don't think that you remember?
That wasn't about that. That was something else that you said that you were asking about. I shared the tweet that's 7 times straight the Steelers have beaten the Panthers. You remember the last time though, right? Everybody remembers the last time.
I do. You ruined Cam's career.
Yeah, it was the last meaningful
TJ
snap.
Watt's a racist. He can fuck himself.
He ended Cam's career in that game. Ben also threw 5 touchdowns. We beat y'all like 52-14.
I honestly don't remember anything but Cam getting hurt.
I miss those days when the Steelers offense could rack up some points.
Yeah, y'all still suck. You can enjoy this.
Oh, we're terrible.
You can hold it over me, but y'all still suck. I don't give a fuck.
But what I see though, especially offensively, is a young group on the rise though. They have, it's just man, this offense has got to click at some point because you just look at the players and you're like, man.
But that's what it's been like for 3 years.
No, not for 3 years.
Yeah, y'all had Juju and Claypool and Johnson.
But you gotta think that's in the
Najee.
transition though. Like Najee just got there last year, so the Pat Fryer move.
Right. Y'all had all those guys last year.
Well,
Not
yeah,
Juju. Juju was gone by that time?
No, Juju was there last year.
Y'all got way too many weapons to not be able to put up points.
Well, last year the conversation was around Ben Roethlisberger and then a completely restructured offensive line. Yeah, I think that's like the core piece of your offense, right? Is the offensive line. And all of those guys is their either first or second season pretty much either starting or even, being in the NFL to begin with. So it's a young group together. They haven't played together a lot, but you see them growing week in and week out. It makes me excited for the future. I don't expect much from them this year, but I mean, man, if we can get somebody decent in there, like a decent offensive mind, the pieces are there for the Steelers to be one of the elite offenses in the league. It's just, I don't know how to bring that out. I'm not sure what happens.
I agree. We got to get Moss back in here, though. Appreciate you for hanging in with us for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that was a long talk. That was a long talk.
I got a lot of shit to get off in a minute.
Yeah, you up. You ready? You ready to get to it?
Let's get to it. Now, out of all the crazy shit we have seen thus far, we talked about these games, wild endings, a lot of overtimes, a lot of close games going on, a lot of Vegas working.
Because there was at least 2 or 3 other massive comebacks, too.
There was a couple of them. There was a lot of them. But, now we get to the game that was actually in Vegas. At the Las Vegas Raiders. Patriots traveled over there, playing our old offensive coordinator, Mr. Josh McDaniels. I know you got a lot of love for him, word.
Fucking fraud.
Coming to this game, need to get this dub. We definitely need to get this dub to try to secure us a spot in the playoffs. We're fighting for that right now. Raiders have been awful for pretty much the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to this game, sluggish. Offense looking rugged. We leaning on our defense as we usually do. I think Darren Waller scored the first TD, first game back in 8 weeks or some shit like that. He's been out for a minute.
Yeah, he made rap songs.
He sparked it off. Yeah, I seen he dropped a little record. I put that in the group chat. He's rapping and shit. Started a new career. I get it.
The white boy was back too, wasn't he?
Renfro was back too. Sparked it off. Darren Waller scored. Pretty good back and forth. Just want to say, first, Mac Jones is a little whiny little bitch.
Oh, yeah? McCorkle is?
Mac Jones might be a little whiny little bitch. If I see this motherfucker whining after another play after he can't complete a fucking pass, I've seen him whine way more times than how many times he completed passes. He probably completed 13 passes in the game. 13 for 30-something.
Damn.
You gotta be better. It ain't everybody else's fault. You gotta be better. At some point, we gotta hold you accountable. You've shown us you could be consistent, and now you've just been inconsistent for at least 5 weeks. Or at least since you came back from injury, he been inconsistent as hell. And I'm kind of sick of the whining and shit. Cut the whining out and just play better. That's where I'm at with Matt.
Can I tell you something about him? I think he's broken. I think he's done. I think he's broken. Yeah. I think his spirit is broken.
Why you say that?
Because he got hurt and got benched and lost his job. The whole fan base is calling for Zappy.
Screaming on Patricia.
We're getting to this.
He was screaming on Patricia?
He's been screaming on Patricia for last 3 games.
He's losing it on the side. We're going to get to the last play, but I think he will. I know it wasn't his fault, but the way that last play ended, I think is just a super embarrassment for him.
He was on the field hurt, Joe. I got the picture. That's the picture for the pod this week.
Yeah.
That motherfucker sitting on his ass.
Only Mason Rudolph has been more embarrassed on the field than in that kind of moment, where everybody's watching.
That's pretty much how I think he was feeling in that moment.
I think he's a broken spirit now.
But all right, so fourth quarter we go up. No, fourth quarter we go up. Up a touchdown. Feeling good. Defense has been pretty much shutting them down for the whole second half. Playing great. I think it started with the Kyle Duggar pick six. They was on our side of the field, inside the 5.
Yeah, I remember
pick six on Devontae Adams.
Wow. Fantastic play.
Great break on the ball. Once that happened, the Raiders' offense was broken. They couldn't get shit going. I think they had 5 straight punts. Then it comes down to their last drive. Last drive of the game, we punted. They got a 9-yard drive. Go all the way down the field on us out of nowhere after they've been asked for at least a quarter and a half. Straight down the field, touchdown pass in the left corner of the end zone. I look at it, I said, fuck. They ain't tied this game up. We got to go into overtime. Showed the replay because they got to review all touchdowns, as we know, at the end of the game. 1 foot in, right foot, left foot dead on the white line.
Clearly.
From my vision.
Clearly.
Dead on the line. They reviewed it, came back, didn't see a reason to change it. That's where it started for me. I'm like, oh, okay, Vegas in line. They try and get this little overtime game.
I think that's one of the worst review calls of all time.
I couldn't believe it. I seen the replay on the over-the-top view. I was like, there's no way you can't see his foot, his toe on the line. Right. There's no way you can't see that shit.
I haven't seen I don't know if I've seen the play, but I've seen like stills, but I need to see like it in slow motion because the stills were kind of distorted, so it certainly looked like his toe was out of bounds.
So the only thing that makes it even like look a little bit confusing is his cleats are actually like white towards the toe.
Right.
And then the actual toe is black. So the black kind of blended in to where it didn't look like there was.
It did blend in.
But this was such a clear, I don't know how you could review it and say, yep, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
I could see making the wrong call in the field. It was dumb close, like in fast pace.
Fast motion, looked like it's
that's terrible, bro.
Couldn't believe it. So now I'm like, all right. At that point, I think it was like 30-some seconds left in the game. I was like, all right, we're going to get the ball. Let's run the clock out, take the shit to overtime. We won't even think about nothing else.
Right.
We get down there, we running the ball. Ramondre had a pretty good running game. I think he had like 172 yards on the ground. He was getting off pretty much. But he breaks like a 40-some yard run off on the last play of the game. Last play of regulation from what I thought it would be. But ended up being the last play of the game. And then he gets up he's about to get tackled. And this motherfucker decides to lateral that shit back to Jacoby Myers. So I'm like, oh, yo, what the fuck is going on? Then Jacoby Myers gets upright in the QB position and launches that shit across the field.
It looked like it was a call
I said, oh, yo, if nobody catches this shit is a fumble.
Oh, don't worry.
Chandler fucking Jones catches that shit like he was in stride catching that motherfucker like they called a play for him. Like he switched teams in the middle of the game.
There was.
He chunks Mac Jones' ass into the ground, his weak, whiny ass, into the fucking ground, takes it home and ends the game on a fucking pick six. What is that? Is a fumble recovery? What does that even count as?
I think it probably is a fumble, but that's a pick six.
That's a fucking pick six.
It will go down as a fumble. But
he went so far out of it. Well, no, he didn't go like super out of his way, but he refused to go out of his way to avoid Mac. He was like, I'm going through this boy.
We've seen the greatest comeback of all time this weekend. We've seen, what was the other one? Some of the greatest endings in games this weekend. And probably the dumbest fucking play in NFL history.
Gotta be.
Has to be.
It has to be.
I have no understanding of why they would start lateraling. Like, we was down and needed to score on that game.
See, all right, I didn't see the ending of this. I didn't see any of the game.
Let's give theories on it.
I didn't see any of the game. I saw, I seen it, what you were talking, like you guys were going back and forth in the chat about it, but so I just randomly pull up the Patriots last play or whatever, and I'm looking on Twitter, and I'm like, yo, at first I was like, man, Chandler Jones is a dick, in this situation when you're up like this, you just go down.
Oh, you thought they were winning?
Yeah, I saw
because of the
I saw the score, but after seeing the play, like the score just went out of my head because I'm like, why would you do that? The situation where the game is tied, it just doesn't happen. So I'm like, man, Chandler Jones is a real fucking dick. He should have just went down. He fucking mushed Mac Jones and everything. He just really wanted that.
He deserved that mush.
He really wanted to get that touchdown just to like embarrass him at the end of the game.
I don't like people talking about quarterback, but that moment he deserved the mush that game.
I was like, oh shit, that was the game-winning score.
Game-winning, bro.
That fucked me up.
I heard some people was interviewing, like, I don't know who they interviewed, but they ain't named no names, but asking players, like, why did they do that? And they was like, they was trying to play hero ball.
Oh, Jacoby said that.
He said he was trying to play hero ball?
Well,
That's what Jacoby said?
He was trying to be too much of a hero.
We trying to be a hero for we didn't need to be saved.
Well, he said
we didn't need to be saved in that moment.
He was answering the questions and like taking responsibility. They said, what were you doing? They were kind of asking like, was that a play call or what went on? And he was like, no, that was on me completely. I was trying to do too much and I was playing hero ball and just messed up. Like he wasn't. He was saying it as like I take responsibility. Not
so he had like a J.R. Smith moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was one of those.
Well,
So
no,
look, my theory
it
on
starts
this,
with Ramondre though.
Yes, I was gonna say my theory on this is when Ramondre passes
fucked
it to
his
him,
mind up.
I think he just instantly was like, "Oh, this is what we're doing."
Right.
And like it doesn't excuse it. Like he's 100% the idiot in this, but I feel like it just like snapped where he was like, "Oh, okay,
Ramondre
I gotta get rid of it now
I don't know what
too."
the fuck Ramondre was thinking at all. But in that moment when he flicks it back to you, you're supposed to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm going down.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's such an odd thing to do, though, at the end of the game. So I can see why somebody might panic or something, and that's clearly what he did. He panicked.
But it wasn't even like it wasn't even like a panic moment. I mean, I guess it's faster when you in the game in the moment of it. But looking at it, it wasn't nobody around him. Like when he pitched it back to him, it was like at least 5 yards between him and the defender.
Kind of like started running backwards.
yeah, he started moving away and set up like he was ready to. I'm like, no, you're not about to do this.
Did you see the shit? Did you see the shit where he was like, "Yeah, I saw Mac Jones was open." So
I said that too. I was like, and who the fuck was he throwing it to? Mac Jones.
He said, "I saw Mac Jones was open, so I wanted to throw it to him." Like, to do what with the ball? What was he gonna do with it?
What was the best? What was the best case scenario you had going? You thought Mac was going to take it 50 yards?
That was the first thing that popped in my head. It's like, yo, who the fuck was you throwing it to? Only person back there was Mac, and I'm like, he was throwing it to fucking Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that shit.
But I mean, look, just to play. I don't even know if this is devil's advocate,
I
but
think I'm on this.
Just a defense for the team or for the players.
I think I'm on this.
Why are you even doing that? Why are you running a draw play if the intention is to get out of regulation?
Yeah, why don't we play?
Let's just take a knee and go into overtime. That way we don't have to worry about any fumbles. We don't have to worry about any. What's the point?
You probably could have just downed it.
What is the point of doing it?
They snapped the ball with 3 seconds left.
They did.
It was just like, yo, you could have just taken a knee. And they asked Bill after the game, why didn't they attempt a Hail Mary? And Bill was like, couldn't throw it that far. That was his answer.
Well, yeah, and I just
one after game speech I want to know what the fuck Bill said to them in that locker room after that game. I have to know what he said.
I gotta know.
He probably didn't say shit to him. He probably just fucking went into fucking office, got on the plane, and got
just went home.
He probably didn't say a goddamn word to them.
At that point, the guys who fucked up know they fucked up for sure.
Yeah,
but
100%.
It starts with the coaching though. At the same time, it's just like, why do you even put them in? Why do you open yourself up for that kind of negativity? Anything can happen. I
don't think I can do that. I can't put it on the coaches. They made that decision on their own. Start laughing.
Yeah, but the coaches made the decisions to. Why not just? I don't get why not just kneel it. What is the advantage of running a draw play at that part or that point in the game? What's the advantage?
He broke a fucking long run. He could have took it to the house.
He almost broke.
He almost took it to the house.
But you know why he broke the long run is because everybody's 20 yards away.
Yeah, of course.
So you're not going to take it to the house on a run play. You just
because everybody's back. Everybody's fucking
you're going to get tackled or run out of bounds eventually. Like it's just highly unlikely that could occur. So.
Yo, I did this back and forth for like since it happened. Haven't come up with a real reason for why it would happen. It's just like it's
a brain fart.
We playing in Vegas, bro. That's all I can put it on. That's all I got.
Well, that means your boys are throwing the game.
They did. They literally threw the game away.
That's what it looks like. That's what I'm saying. When we talk about the NFL was rigged, somebody got to go to these moments like this and pull this. Like, hey. This is crazy. Like nobody in their right mind would do anything like this if they're attempting to win a game.
And to make matters worse, they got the little dude. I think it's on NFL Network on one of them joints where you be doing like the percentages of people getting in the playoffs. They was running through this shit.
Yeah.
And they said with our loss, we was in. I think we was like 7th seed or some shit like that. We was in before they lost. The Chargers won, so that moved them up in the playoffs and moved us out. We had like a 40-some% chance of making it before we lost. Lost to drop it to like 22% chance of making the playoffs. And the Jets went up. They have a better chance of getting in the playoffs and knocking us out than we do, and we swept the Jets. Yeah. To make matters worse, the Jets can get in after we swept them.
Well, because your next 3 games.
Yeah, the toughest games we got.
Bruh.
What is that?
Bengals, Bills, Jets.
No, I think it's Dolphins.
Bengals, Bills, Dolphins, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, y'all going 0-3.
Shit is fucking nuts.
That's a killer, bro.
Like, we really needed that dub. Needed that dub.
The worst play in NFL history. It was unbelievable. It's
Like,
unbelievable. I still was watching it today.
Anything like that.
I don't understand it.
And this is supposed to be a Bill Belichick coach group.
Yeah.
You know, this was normally the smartest team out there.
I'm right there.
Uh-oh.
Well, how you feeling about? I'm right fucking there.
Y'all don't know what you're
You
talking
can't fire
about.
Bill,
Because
bro.
Y'all don't know what you're talking about, man.
I ain't there yet, but I'm right there because it's like the thing he's known most for is defense and having a disciplined, sound squad at the very least. And we've been
And Brady.
and Brady. But at least without Brady, at least we can still say that we're a disciplined team. We're not gonna turn the ball over a lot, and not make a lot of fucking penalties. We've been the total opposite of that this season.
Yeah,
and I think that's telling me he might be losing this young group that we got right now if they can't be disciplined enough in games and not do stupid shit like throw laterals in the regulation.
The defense is solid though.
The defense been solid.
Right.
I hang almost all of our wins on our defense. Pretty much.
You got to, yeah.
Anytime our defense scores or gets a lot of
over there.
turnovers and sacks, we usually win those games. Like this one, which we should have won. But hey, I don't know.
Insane.
Fucked up.
We got a lot of other games to touch real quick, and maybe like 20 more minutes here for football. So
yeah,
where do we want to go to next? Some Eagles-Bears was a good game. I don't have a lot to say. I don't know if y'all do. Fields is that dude. I fuck with Fields heavy. That run was disgusting.
Fields was nice.
But that was really all I had to say.
Over 1,000 rushing yards this season.
Hurts, man. 3 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, Hurts is hurt, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Seen that earlier.
So he might be out the next 2 games.
Shoulder.
Oh, yeah, shoulder. Sorry.
So he might be out for the next 2 games.
I think that's...
play the Cowboys this week.
I think he's hurt, but I think this is just super cautious mode at this point the rest of the year because once the Cowboys lost, I'm pretty sure that locks up the division, right? For the Eagles.
I don't know if it locks it up, but it pretty much puts them in that position, I think.
Good check it.
It's the Eagles will be 13-1 right now. Cowboys have 4 losses on the season. So I guess it's still possible for it to happen. I mean, it's not like
the first time, so
they'd have to sweep. They'd have to lose all 3.
If they win this one, then it's over.
Right.
For sure. But yeah, they would have to lose all 3 games. But I mean, if you're the Eagles, though, of course you want the bye week. Every team does, but just getting in the dance is good enough for them because they're going to be better than anybody they face in the first round.
And nothing matters if Hurts isn't good to go for the playoffs.
Right, exactly.
Fuck these 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Fall wherever you have to fall into the playoffs.
Exactly.
Just get there and make sure he's
Don't
healthy.
tough this one out. Like I said, you've been the best team in the NFC all year long. You can't be scared of, of not trying to preserve that to win some really meaningless games for them at this point. So, yeah.
Plus, they got Minshew back there. They
right.
Minshew back there with a whole gang of
Minshew.
offensive weapons. He should be just fine with the guys
they
that they've
definitely
got.
get wins with Minshew.
Yeah, even if you went run heavy, they're not going to be a bad enough drop off that they're going to be terrible.
Devontae Smith and AJ Brown went off.
Yeah, Devontae was every time I saw a highlight, it was him.
Going nuts.
126 for Devontae and 181 for AJ Brown.
Sheesh.
Yeah. I had money on a bunch of touchdowns in that game, and Hurts decided I'm gonna just score all the touchdowns. I'm gonna score all the touchdowns this game.
He had a pretty rough first half, at least. Yeah. He threw the 2 picks. He wasn't throwing the ball well. He must have finished good in the second half with those guys getting all those yards.
Yeah, he had some decent. He had 315 yards. So it looks like he picked it up.
He must have balled.
He didn't throw a touchdown.
He had
though.
2 picks though.
Yeah, that was like I said. That was in the first half. Fields is. I don't know what to think of Fields, man. He's a weapon though. That's for sure.
Of course,
he's a weapon. I mean, what he does with his legs, and it's not even like these are not drawn up plays. He's it's like off schedule, scrambles and stuff where he's making defenses pay, and it's almost like even if you're prepared for it or have a spy, he's making guys miss and just doing some incredible things with his legs. But you can't play like that and be an elite offense. You have to. Of course, you got to win some possessions from the pocket. So you got to wait. See if he develops that way.
I think he's improving as a passer. I don't think he's great at it, but
passes in the game.
I think he's shown enough that he's capable, and I expect he will continue to grow with the throwing. But when you have that weapon that he's got with his legs, it gives you a lot of grace as far as being able to ease into getting better with the passing game.
Yeah, for sure.
When you can do what you
can
do.
Supplement that. Yeah. That's pretty much like, hey, I know we're not going to throw for 225 yards, but if he can rush for a good 50 and we can throw for $175,
right,
we can make it work. It's still all the same as far as moving the ball.
It's all production.
I'm happy every time the Bears lose.
Why is that?
Because we have the second round draft pick.
Oh, okay.
which is currently the 33rd pick.
Nice.
Of the draft. So, and Chase Claypool hasn't played. I mean, he's played a few games, but he hasn't been a significant piece.
No, I think he's been out a few games too.
Yeah. So,
I've heard this a long time ago, but I just got reminded. Did y'all know the Eagles got somebody's top pick, first pick? Like they're gonna be picking top 5 this year. I can't remember where it's from.
AJ Brown. Oh no, they acquired AJ Brown.
Yeah, it's not. They got somebody's top 5 pick. They're gonna end up being the number 1 team in the NFL this year, grabbing a top 5 pick next year.
That's
not even fair. Not even fair.
That's nuts.
I don't know how they acquired that.
I can't remember who it is either.
Maybe in the Carson trade. I know they got something out of that.
That might be what it is. Maybe it's the Colts pick. I don't know. It's irrelevant. We got other games to get to.
Did the Colts give up a first for Carson Wentz?
Probably. You know how they do.
Fuck.
Makes sense.
I don't know. That's the only asset I could see them trading recently that was worth that.
Yeah, I can't remember. But I know they got it.
Big upset alert.
Cowboys?
Jags.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Over the Cowboys.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's looking very much like a payout at this point. Luckily, we gonna cancel on the Ravens, so it ain't no thing. But looks like y'all gonna get those 7 wins.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't care. If I'm gonna lose the bet anyway, I hope they get the playoff spot. I hope they win the division. I think they're only a game behind Tennessee now because Tennessee lost to the Chargers this week.
And is Tannehill out? I mean, that looked like he was down on the field.
He came back in the game.
Okay.
I thought the same thing. It looked like he was done, but he ended up coming back in the game. I still don't think it matters. They're not a good team. They're not a good team. Is Derrick Henry a bust? They had a touchdown drive that was something like 60 or 70 yards, and it was all Derrick Henry yards, passing and rushing.
It's all him.
This is the only guy that does anything.
It's all him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really. I don't know if I was a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence coming out. I was a fan of his skill set and stuff like that, but he did nothing in college to make me like, I guess like wow,
Taking down Bama?
I mean, I think
you don't like giving props to the top 5 teams in college, their quarterbacks, because you always say like they just got so many weapons.
I was a fan of Tua.
That's true. You were a Tua guy.
So I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but I knew he was a good player, and I knew I had a good idea that he would be a pretty good player in the NFL. But I think now he has. Of course, you draft him thinking that he has top 5 quarterback potential at the number 1, but he's really showing that now.
I agree. I had said to you, I think next year he's talked about with the Burrows and Herberts and stuff, and I don't think he is right now. But
his hot take brewing.
What's that?
Might have a hot take brewing.
Do you want me to read his stats first or after you give your hot take?
Go ahead.
All right. I might cool your take. Last 6 games, he's they didn't give me a completion percentage, and I can't do the math on 157 for 223, but I would assume that's high.
That's pretty good.
1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick. Last 6 games. He has been carrying them on their back. And
I don't think he threw 14 touchdowns all last season, or it was like 16 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure it was like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And early in the year, he was relatively low in touchdowns. In some of the early games, he was throwing 2, 1. He had a couple of games with 0.
Right.
The last 4 games, he's at like 3, 3, 3, 4. And it's like, Jesus.
Yeah. I think pretty soon, either by the end of this season or going into the next season, I think it might be safe to say that Trevor Lawrence is better than fucking Herbert.
Ooh.
I know Herbert has had the best, 3 seasons starting and all this, that, and the third. Fucking Trevor Lawrence is a winner. His best receiver is fucking Christian Kirk. and Zay Jones is the second best receiver. And he's throwing 4 touchdowns and 300-some yards to these guys and winning games against teams they're not supposed to beat. I know we love Herbert, but he had Hall of Famer Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, big deep threat. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I know you like this Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's been a top 15 receiver for almost his whole career.
Bro. You
so
can't just say
it is what it is.
Bro, stop it.
Keenan Allen's going to be a Hall of Famer, dog.
He is not,
check his numbers.
Bro. You know how hard it is for a wide receiver to make Hall of Fame?
The point is the same.
The point is the same.
That
Trevor Lawrence ain't got a Keenan Allen. He ain't got a Keenan Allen. He ain't got a Mike Williams.
What do you want to call him?
He ain't got an Eckler in the backfield.
Call him Pro Bowl receiver Keenan Allen.
That's still is. I'll accept that.
The comparison is to Zay Jones. That's all that matters in this discussion.
Christian Kirk's actually a really good player.
We talked about this earlier. Christian Kirk is your best receiver. You're going to have a rough season. He's been making it happen.
But he's had a
Tyreek Hill over here talking about Christian Kirk's a top 5 receiver.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But I think it would be safe to say he's a fucking beast because he's a fucking winner and he's winning with guys that he's not supposed to be winning with and beating teams that he's supposed to lose to.
I think this is a good take.
So I'm thinking it's like, I know Herbert been balling out. He's also had a great team put around him to ball out in these first 3 seasons as well. That should be playing better and getting more wins. I think we said that.
Christian Kirk almost has a 1,000-yard season, by the way, with the.
Good for him.
Shout out to Trevor.
14 games into
Shout out to the
season.
guy throwing him the chits.
By the way, the Chargers are coming into their own right now.
They are
in defense of Herbert, but I like that take.
Recently, but
I like that take.
I'm not.
I think we've definitely have said that Herbert, the Chargers should have been a playoff team the last 2 seasons, and they haven't been. So, if Trevor Lawrence takes his team to the playoffs this season, and the Chargers end up not going, we might have to have a different conversation. I already said we got to have a different conversation about the Chargers already if they don't make the playoffs. It looks like they might get in there.
Yeah, Chargers are going.
They probably see
because they're 8-6 and they got Colts, Rams, Broncos to finish. They're going to go 11-6.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Solid ass.
Yeah, I mean, don't use this as your moment to shit on to shit on Justin Herbert, bro. Because
but it ain't shitting on it.
It's not shitting on. I'm just saying.
Say that somebody might be better.
I'm just saying he's looking like the better guy because he's winning with the worst team.
I mean, I don't believe that. But I think they're comparable. I think I just think Herbert is further along in his development than Trevor Lawrence is right now, of course. But I don't.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
I don't see. He's definitely not better than Herbert today. Or he's really not better than Herbert was his rookie season. I just wouldn't put him in that category right now.
I'd say it's hard to say now because they probably might not make the playoffs. But if they do, it might be a conversation to be had with this team. This team is not a playoff team.
Eventually, you're gonna have.
There's no reason they should be in the hunt for the playoffs right now. And
eventually, you're gonna have to put Trevor Lawrence in the top 5 quarterback conversation years to come. But Herbert's already there, and I think it's fairly solidified.
No, I think that's fair. My point, and I think kind of what Moss is going on, he might be going a little further than I am, but Lawrence is the DK Metcalf meme. He is chasing that motherfucker down right now. He is running fast as hell, and I think he's made up a lot of ground.
The team on his back. They're not winning these games without him playing like he playing.
Oh, I mean, that's for sure, but they have some young offensive pieces too. Don't act like he's doing it with nothing. They've invested.
ETN is nice too.
They've invested in that offense, and I mean they've invested in their defense as well too. So I mean, I didn't look at them as a bad team coming in. I get what you're saying.
Fucking Evan Ingram looked like a Pro Bowler last week.
That was his best game of his. That was the best game of his life.
Zay had 3 of those touchdowns this week, right?
Yeah.
Zay Jones.
Yeah,
that's wild. Y'all had any takes on the Cowboys choking that game? Because they should have had that in the bag. They blew a 17-point lead.
Yeah, that was bad.
I don't know what happened.
This is the Cowboys. It's that time of the year where the Cowboys start shooting themselves in the foot, and that's exactly what they're doing.
I didn't see the pick six. Was it like it was a tip pass, right?
It was a great play by the defense.
Okay.
I mean, you throw a pick, it is what it is. You can blame Dak, but it was a great play. That boy had 18 tackles, 2 picks, and a touchdown.
Yeah, he was balling.
I went blank on his name. It was something Jenkins. Rayshawn Jenkins.
Okay,
that's his name.
Yeah.
Yep, Rayshawn Jenkins.
I mean, they stole the game.
18 tackles.
But, I don't know, not a good look.
6 for the dub. That's crazy numbers.
It was. It was.
Crazy numbers.
Anyway. Bengals, Bucks. That one was a big comeback too. They blew a 17-point lead.
They did.
Did we feel like
Bucks
at any point that the Bucks were going to win that game?
No, I didn't.
I didn't think so. I'm
Did
like,
y'all see how they came
really
back
bad.
though? Like it was crazier than the Vikings come back. It was like 4 back-to-back turnovers by the Bucks.
I think they had
to give them the ball within the 30 every time.
three play drive for 1 yard punt and then fumble,
Brady,
interception.
It was nuts.
Brady looked awful in the second half.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, he looked terrible, man.
Well, the Bengals continue to dominate the second half the entire season. I wish I had the stat on me right now, but they've given up a retardedly low amount of points in the second half.
Yeah.
Like, I got to find the stat for next week. Like, it's unbelievable. I don't even know how they do that. Like, 1 or 2 touchdowns for the entire year in the second half.
So, out of the top three teams in the AFC, we'll say the Bills, Kansas City, and the Bengals, who y'all taking?
He said, hold on, what? The top in the AFC.
Bills,
top
Bengals, Bills, Bengals, Chiefs.
Bengals, Chiefs.
I mean,
taking to win it all? Or go to the Super Bowl?
I think the Bills have the best team. In my heart, I will continue to pick Mahomes if I had to put a bet today, just because he's earned it.
Yeah.
They play like shit every time they play a bad team. They almost lost to the Texans. And honestly, it's getting to be really annoying to me how bad they play against poor competition.
They are.
Just pisses me off because that just comes off as arrogant, that they just don't really give a fuck if the team is not any good. And they always end up winning. And right after this Texans game, if they go play a good team next week, they'll play good as hell. They play to their competition, which I'm not a fan of, but it's hard to bet against Mahomes. I do think the Bills have the best all-around team.
And with that explanation right there is why I'm picking the fucking Bengals. Because fucking Burrow is burrowing right now. Just like he did last season.
Can't argue.
Playing good at the right time, going into the playoffs coming up. I think they could do it. I think they can get back to the Super Bowl and run it back again.
I can see
I think it's very possible.
I
Depending on how the matchups come out. But
I think they're the third
whoever they put in
out
front
of
of them,
those
they can
three,
beat.
but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I do believe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Big game Burrow.
I mean, it's certainly possible. I think it's a toss-up between any of those 3 teams, honestly. So
No lean on any of them?
I would probably go with Kansas City,
Yeah.
just because I got a lot. I mean, it's a quarterback game. I got to take Mahomes and that Kelsey combination, through the playoffs. Just an experience as well, too. Even though all of these other teams are, like the Bills are experienced in the playoffs at this point, and so are the Bengals, judging off their last run.
I mean, all 3
But nobody has more experience than Patrick Mahomes.
Did you see Mahomes went 36 for 41 yesterday? That's just silly.
I was looking at
It's just silly.
I was looking at people
weapons.
talk about him in the draft, like when Kansas
old
City
takes
got him.
exposed.
I don't know why you would draft a guy in the top 20 who needs so much work. I mean, this guy has no footwork. He's playing in the Pac-12. Just all of these negative comments, and this guy is literally one of the best quarterbacks we've ever watched play the game.
Yeah.
Old takes exposed are so much fun
It's
to look
so
at.
fun because it's like, man, this guy's an idiot now.
Most time they
You
be
know?
wrong as shit.
Do y'all know anything about this quarterback from Florida that they're talking about in the draft? Have you seen this? You're a draft guy.
Florida?
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar yet.
I don't know much about him neither, but I just all of a sudden have seen a bunch of stuff about him because he's been showing up on our mock draft as a Panthers pick, and they're talking about him being a clear project where you put in a year or two before he really takes off. But he's like, I guess I would compare him more to Josh Allen. I was going to say he's like a Cam Newton size, but with a little bit better arm.
I don't know.
They're hype on this dude as a
you're
raw
talking
talent.
about Will Levis?
No.
Not
Not
that's the
from
one
Kentucky.
I've seen compared to.
That's a big black dude.
No, I'm not familiar.
Don't even know his name. I'll have to find it and send it to him because I think you'll like this stuff.
Okay.
But I hope he's that.
We might as well flip it to the NFC. I guess we got to talk about the top 4 since Dallas just clinched their playoff berth.
Yeah.
Philly, Minnesota, Niners, Dallas.
I think it's Philly
Who
all
y'all
the way.
like?
Yeah, I mean,
Philly.
There's no competition in the NFC to me.
Their like team stats are just ridiculous. They put up the graphic and they're like first in sacks, first in interceptions, least yards per game. Least it's just beyond ridiculous. And the offense is nice.
They not only have good players, they're a well coached group.
Yeah, why are you whispering?
Lost the voice a little
bit. They're a well coached group. They ain't your quarterback. Like
choked up.
That's the impressive thing about the Eagles, though.
You a Sirianni fan?
I wasn't when he was hired because I'm like, yo, this dude is a babbling idiot. But obviously, he knows football and knows what he's talking about. He's coached this group. They're good on both sides of the football. They're mostly dominant, in the areas that they are. So,
well, it's just for all the stuff that we used to talk about with the Rams and all the spending that they did and just bringing in mad big names. I have no idea how the Eagles afford all the players that they have.
Well, they drafted them.
It did the right way.
All of them? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of these defensive guys I didn't know about where they came from.
The only guys that they've signed on the defense, I mean, of course, kept
the two corners.
The corners. Fletcher was a draft pick. Jordan Davis was a draft pick, even though he's not playing right now.
Gotcha.
A lot of linebackers all drafted except for A.J. Brown.
Yeah,
that's true. Pretty much the whole team has just been built properly.
They've been building through the draft.
I think Hurts. I'm blown away by Hurts' leadership every time I hear him speak. Have y'all noticed any of that?
That's why I thought he was going to be or have a good season, is because he has the leadership intangibles.
Wherever he goes,
it's incredible.
It's really just about from that point him developing his skill, or really them. I mean, I know he had skill coming out, so it's really about them putting that around him, so that his skills could be like emphasized. And they've done a good job at that.
That's why I understand when people was like questioning him last season about if he's the guy or not. I'm like, yo, dog, like even going back to his college days, all the shit that he went through, not getting the spot at Alabama, going to Oklahoma, still being the guy and leading the team all the way. It's like, yo, if that's not your guy, like who y'all waiting on?
Right.
Like what else do y'all see out there when y'all got this guy right there?
What are you bitching about?
Like what did y'all talk about? So I understand why they was questioning it. If they don't ride with fucking Jalen Hurts, they would be stupid as hell to let him go.
Completely agreed.
And now you see that shit is paying off, so it all makes sense. But with all that, of course, Philly should be everybody's favorite. My sleeper pick in there is the fucking Niners still, man. I know Purdy been playing good, stepping in that role.
He looks good.
But that Niners team is built so well. If Debo comes back for the playoffs, I think they can be any of those guys, given any given Sunday type shit. Like,
but they're not a Super Bowl contender. You think you would put them in that category? That's what I'm really looking at.
I think they would be a sleeper team that nobody would think will rise to the occasion off that defense and them weapons they got on offense.
I would say it's no possible way they make the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, and that's not like shitting on Brock Purdy because he's played really well. But it's just not how the world works in football.
Once you get there.
You've literally never seen a rookie quarterback, have...
the rookie thing,
You've never seen one have success in the playoffs. Name me one rookie quarterback who had success in the playoffs. I don't know of one, not off the top of my head. So, I mean, that's just a real thing, and you've never seen a rookie quarterback make it to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I think you're setting me up right now, but didn't Ben have a crazy run his rookie year?
He went 13-1 in the regular season. He had 2 awful playoff games.
Okay.
He was carried literally by the run game in the playoff games. He threw multiple picks.
But I think that could happen again. I agree with you 100%. Like once Purdy gets there, I won't be shocked at all if he has just an absolute dud of a game. But they've got a great defense and you got McCaffrey and Debo.
But I'm saying you're gonna come up short eventually. Like we got to the AFC Championship and got throttled.
Right.
Actually, he won 1 playoff game. Sorry, that year he won the first one. He got to the AFC Championship, got his ass kicked, and got sent home. So
gotcha.
It's just I mean, it's something you don't see. So I
thought they could be the second best team in the NFC.
It's been a season of seeing shit you don't see.
For real, so coming off of this weekend, can't tell me nothing.
Who fucking knows? We might get a fucking Bengals Niners Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Yeah, that would really make me throw up. That'd be because it's like, damn. Bengals really about to win one here. Fuck.
That's crazy.
Well, we're running long on time here. Real quick, did y'all want to touch on the end of the Commanders game last night?
I watched that too.
That was horrendous as well.
That was horrible.
Those were
Wow.
terrible.
I want some good money off their
memory,
game,
please.
though.
They're down 8 with less than 30 seconds left or something. It's 3rd and goal.
They almost
on the
ended
1.
regulation 20-20, just like they did last week.
Yeah, they ran it in for the touchdown, and they called McLaurin for illegal formation.
Yeah.
But the whole
really
thing,
pissed me off though.
he checked with the ref
check.
Twice.
The ref said move up. He checked with him twice.
As soon as the ball snapped, flag, he was quick with it.
Yeah, he was sitting there like it was
His
like he
hand was
told
on
him
the
yes,
flag
and
when
then he was
after
like
he
fuck
told
you.
him, yeah.
In the post game though, McLaurin was like he verbally said yes, I'm good. He said it was a 1-word answer. But
I
he said
saw the
yes.
ref give him a thumbs up. That's
did.
what I thought I saw. But
I
I
thought
mean,
so too.
Yeah, and then he put his hand right on his flag.
It was like so intentional. That was a terrible call.
Vegas is in full effect, I'm telling y'all.
And then 2 plays later on the 4th and goal, the guy is draped on Curtis Samuel's back.
Yeah, no pass
That's an
interference.
obvious pass interference. And they would have still had to get the 2-point conversion and all this, but
Yeah.
they got cheated bad.
That was wild. I was like, at least it ain't just happened to us.
Yeah, to make
The
feel a little bit
fuck?
better.
Everybody getting fucked over today. But yeah, that was terrible.
yeah, man, I'm telling you, the jig is up.
The jig
They
is
just
up,
putting
man.
it in your face now.
In your face.
It's like, damn, man, y'all just like that was because normally, like I've seen that happen before. You always when you go out wide, you're supposed to check with the ref, make sure you're on the line of scrimmage, and the ref will normally tell you like, hey 10, scoot up a little bit, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like if you check with him.
It's like an unwritten football thing.
Yeah,
Check with the ref when
you check with the
line it
ref, and he said he was good. So why would he at any other point think to make any kind of adjustment?
Yeah, there's no reason to.
I wouldn't
I'm
move.
verified.
Yeah. So I don't.
They got that
was,
call like, they can't win this game. We don't need no overtime, y'all. Let this shit end right now. That's what they got. They got that call.
It was something
This shit has
like
to end
that.
right there. They can't score.
It
and send
was
us to overtime.
terrible, man.
I mean, that was it right there. So
They didn't deserve the win. Again, like
Yeah.
they played like trash the entire game.
Yeah.
Heineke had a big fumble inside the 10 late in the 4th quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they blew so many chances, but ultimately you get yourself back in position to have a shot. You shouldn't be penalized off some bullshit. That
Right.
was terrible.
That was wild.
tough loss.
Wild fucking weekend. Wild fucking weekend. Wild fucking week.
It was.
Wild fucking week. I mean, we had I feel like it's been like an episode of Law and Order every day on the social medias. It's like
Somewhat.
everybody breaking down cases. Everybody's a paralegal out here. Y'all was even getting it in the chat.
It was
Breaking
fun.
down-
It was fun. Which one we want to go first?
Let's start with Meg and Tory. I say we start there. That's where it started off this week.
Go ahead. One of y'all kick it off. I've
Early this
seen like
week.
some of the jokes and stuff, but I haven't paid as close attention to this
Well,
one.
where's it to start? First of all, it's
The
been
trial
like,
has started for Megan Tory. It's been like I think they're at the 7th day of trial or something like that.
Yeah, it's been all week. Every day this
they're into it pretty deep now.
It's
I
just
think-
like the OJ case. They fucking like, it's every break, you get people coming out
Updates.
reporting what happened, word for
Yeah,
word. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the hell is going on?
It's been kind of a big deal on social media.
There's multiple really funny pieces of it.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's been other celebrities dragged into it. Ben Simmons, the baby.
Oh, I did.
You didn't see that?
No,
I mean, that was like
That
was the defense's like opening statement. Is pretty much to kind of I guess
That Meg's a
ruin Meg's character a little bit by dropping those nuggets of information. Apparently, her and her best friend's been swapping niggas for a while now and shit. That's just
I don't even know
what
what's
they
been swapping.
do.
It's allegedly Megan just been stealing them behind her back.
Yeah,
Every time she, I want some of that too.
Yeah. She told me about it. So, they started the case there, and the defense, of course, or the prosecution just tried to make it seem like Tory's this maniac who was itching to kill somebody because they said their music was bad.
trash.
Yeah, so
Only reason you popping because you was on that What's Poppin' record Jack Harlow remix.
yeah,
That's what she allegedly said.
That's
to him.
that's what allegedly what was said, and then after that, shortly, the next thing she heard was "dance, bitch." So I don't know.
Yeah, that was like the opening statements. They shot at her saying "dance, bitch."
But
they really
I
standing
think
on that.
the biggest issue I have, I mean, looking at it in a whole, if there was like apparently the gun went off like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody shot at somebody 5 times, wouldn't that be attempted murder? Like, shouldn't that be the charge?
What is the charge actually?
It's like malicious
Assault with
wounding,
deadly
probably,
weapon
or something like that. I know he got like they just always say felony charges on the headline. I haven't seen what the exact charges are, but I would assume it's some kind of malicious wounding charge, or
Sure.
Something to do with handling of a firearm.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds like if you shoot at somebody 5 times, it sounds like attempted murder to me.
You know how sometimes prosecution charges a lesser charge because they're aware the greater charge does not have a good chance of being
right. That's
convicted.
What it is. Right.
So
if you go
like
for
connected with and shot her, like not like it grazed, some fragments hit her.
Well, no, they
probably would have been.
Well, I think what Andrew's saying is to strengthen that case because they don't know what happened in a sense. So they're like, well, maybe we can get them on this. They try to drop a bunch of other little things in there, like maybe we can just get them with a gun charge, or maybe what I'm saying, things like that, and see what sticks. But they know something like an attempted murder in this case wouldn't, but because that's what it really is. If this happens to out there in the streets on a regular basis, like you're gonna get an attempted murder charge for this. Like it's not gonna be a bunch of other things around.
I think a direct bullet has to hit somebody for.
No, it doesn't. It's an attempt. That's not. It's not.
So I think probably when you get into charges of murder, a lot of times intent is super important.
Yeah,
right.
That's why
right.
they'll go like manslaughter instead of murder on certain situations.
Yeah.
So there may be something in regards to the intent can't be proven. So
right.
Oh no, I think this. I get what you're saying, but I just assume there's a reason why they're going for a certain charge, and I assume it's probably in some sort of logical.
They're trying to see what they can get them on, but they know they can't get them on that. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, probably
so at that point, it's like, all right, if you know you can't get them on that, I don't really know if you have much of a case in my eyes. But fast forward, they put Megan on the stand.
This was the funny part. Not funny, but it is funny.
What, when they put her on the stand?
Or what she said.
What she said?
What she said?
She said, I at this point, I wish he would have just killed me so I didn't have to go through all this.
Rather be dead.
Being really, really dramatic.
But it's
right
like
now.
you really started all of this because at first you said he didn't shoot you, right? And then all of a sudden you did the 180 and came out and said that he did shoot you, and you even went on Instagram Live and told all your fans about it and stuff like that. But if she didn't want it to be a big deal, then you should have just kept your first story going.
Yeah. That's what's going to break this case, because she keeps going back on shit that she said before. Like, she finally had to admit in court that they was fucking. Even previously in an interview, she said they won't fucking.
Right, on that Gayle King interview.
Right, and she also said in that Gayle King interview, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Those are the people you never believe. And I don't get why people don't understand that. But like, it's just like my child. When she gets in trouble for something, and the first thing that she says is, "I didn't do anything."
Right.
Or if something happens,
right here, something happened.
Something happened. Don't tell me you didn't do anything. What led to this?
Yeah.
Let's talk through that part of it. And so right then, I was like, "This is a liar. This is what liars do. Like these are tendencies of liars. They try to just deflect everything." So I didn't put my hands on anybody, and it's just like, it's a witness that says they saw 2 women fighting in the street before the shooting happened.
Gotcha.
So, and apparently Kelsey's, it was nails and weave and all types of shit like that.
And they brought up her diss track in the joint.
Yeah. I mean,
the remnants.
so I mean, at
the courtroom
I
again.
don't get how anybody could convict Tory of with everything that's been coming out, just the inconsistencies in the stories. I don't see how anybody.
Have y'all
Being
noticed
on tour.
the difference in public opinion?
No.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
kinda
still.
staying the same.
I think people who have been on one side
I disagree.
are staying on that side.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people like that.
There are more people
I
that
think
start not
there's
to
a
believe
lot
Meg.
of people that are turning
There
on
are.
Meg at this point
There are.
because she is all the stuff that you were just saying.
Yeah.
Anybody that has continuously switched parts of their story, even if they weren't important parts, like sleeping with him, really not that important to whether or not this happened.
Right.
When she keeps getting caught
Yeah, so
lying,
why are you lying about that?
what I'm seeing is a lot of people starting to not fuck with her at all and not think what
Right.
she's saying is true.
It's not looking good.
I don't know if the entire narrative has changed, but I think it's turning quickly.
You got
and
a bombshell. Tory's defense when they had the gun residue evidence or the DNA on the gun didn't have they couldn't find no DNA of Tory on the gun, but they found a woman's DNA on the gun.
Yeah,
Or some shit like that.
None of his DNA was on the magazine, and the DNA on the gun was inconclusive.
Yeah. Right.
So, but it was plenty enough from a court perspective where it just takes away, like there's no evidence from that to be able to use.
Yeah, and
so it just wipes out an entire
they can't use
part
that
of
at
your
all.
defense.
And they found gunshot residue on apparently both Tory and Kelsey.
Gotcha.
So both of them had gunshot residue on them. But I think what helped out the defense ultimately was Kelsey taking a stand. That's Megan's best friend, and she pretty much denied everything that she said to the prosecution.
I think Tory paid fucking Kelsey off. She took a bag from Corey.
I did too.
From Tory. Because she's switching up her whole shit now. Like, she's saying everything different in defense of Tory. Basically saying
you see that threat of perjury on her at this point?
Yeah, they are.
They gave her immunity from the case itself just to cooperate, but she's now has changed her story heavily as well. They're like, if we find out that there's proof that what you're saying now is false, she's going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
But how can they find out? They don't have the proof now. At this point, so
sure. Well,
it's not likely you'll have it, at any point in time.
No, it is unlikely. It's just
let me put this out there though, because everybody's coming with that angle of Tory paying her off. What if the promise initially was that Megan was going to pay her off, and that's why she told what she told to the prosecution?
Certainly possible.
That's her best friend. So maybe I mean, apparently they were staying together, or just living in some kind of Airbnb together or something like that, and Megan was, paying for all the stuff. So maybe it was some deal between them, and that's why she said what she said. Either one could be a possibility to me.
100%.
And that's why she now apparently they're not friends anymore. So she flipped her story.
That's what I was gonna say. Sounds like they got beef now, animosity. So it certainly could just be between them that caused her to flip. But I think it's interesting.
Did you know that Kelsey, I guess, recently had a baby?
And with somebody from the label,
with the guy that works at the label 1500 that is currently in a lawsuit against Megan.
Carl Crawford had some stuff to say. I don't remember what it was, but he was talking online once all this stuff
said
came
they're
out.
Be right back in court for their shit that him and Meg going through in January or some shit like that.
She gonna stay in court cases. It's gonna run a dry. But
this has all been entertaining. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think we'll find out the truth at all. I think Tory will get off, but I don't think we'll have no conclusive he did it or didn't do it at the end of it. But I think he'll get off just because their side they ain't got no strength in their case.
It's reasonable doubt. He's swimming in reasonable doubt.
That's all he has to prove.
I mean,
that's done already.
To his credit, he was confident from the jump.
He was.
So whether he did it or not, I agree with you 100%. It looks like they're not going to get him on nothing, and I don't think it'll matter. It doesn't matter if we know the truth. He's not getting in trouble, I don't believe.
Yeah, I think it's
look, that just goes to show you, though.
This is going to be good.
When you deal with women like this, and I'm not even going to say the word, but you know what word I like.
Go ahead.
When
you know I call it that mad times before. Let it fly.
Promiscuous.
When you deal with a promiscuous whore,
there we go.
You have to realize that lying is one of their tendencies. That comes with the territory of a lot of these women that are like that. And I mean,
that's true.
They just be lying, bro.
It's the ones that are like that, they will lie up and down, bro. And it's even when they've been caught red-handed, they're just going to start crying and act like the whole world set them up.
I just want to die.
Right. So, this, I've seen this play out too many times.
Yeah, same.
I know. I don't know what happened to her. I'm pretty sure that something did happen to her that night, but I am 100% sure she's lying about most of those details. So, you just can't trust her. Make this a note. Credibility. Right. Make this a note for anybody before you think you're gonna deal with a girl who's interested in having a hot girl summer.
That's a good point. I co-sign that.
Hey, it's the brand. It is the brand. It's looking like you can't trust a whole lot of people out here these days.
Not even your man.
Not even your man's that you blew up with. Shit, crazy. trial started. Well, trial been going on. Well, Gunna got
no trials.
No trial happened. Gunna got released.
Out of nowhere, out the blue.
Week, out the blue. Took a plea deal. Was the Alfred plea? Alfred plea?
Yeah.
I was breaking that down. In court, they video leaked of him taking the plea in court and admitting that YSL is a gang and they did commit crimes and that whatever shit they found in the car with him and Thug won't his. And they let him out.
So I back him 100% on this.
I have no issue with him admitting that the stuff in the car wasn't his, because Thug can always say the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I have no issue with that. But I mean, I already knew what time it was. We gotta look. These rappers are not who they say they are. Like 90% of the time, they are not. When it happened, I already knew. Like I put it in the chat. Oh, Gunna's snitching for sure. Gunna is not about that life like that.
So we Gunna snitch. He a snitch.
You can call him that. Well, I mean, I would call him that by their terminology. He snitched, yeah.
So let me ask this:
Did he snitch?
Do you think he was involved in any crimes?
No.
All right, I don't either.
Yeah,
and that is why I would back everything that he's done. I can't put myself in the mindset of a street dude because I'm not, and I think all that shit is retarded. Right. But I feel like even if he didn't commit the crimes, what is the harm in it? Or I get what the harm is, but that's not his problem. What is wrong with him saying, "I didn't commit the crimes"?
Right.
Like I think we talked about this before. I think it's snitching as being we both did something, and I'm telling on you to get out of trouble for myself or reduce my trouble.
Same.
If we are in a car, you committed crime and I didn't, I'm gonna tell them I didn't commit no crime. Like, what is the problem?
Right. And Charleston White says this often: that's not snitching. That's just get some shit straight. And I do believe that. Like, yo, we just get some shit. We just gonna get some shit straight at the end of the day. Like, hold on, bro. Just let the people know that shit. I ain't got nothing to do with this shit, and that's fine. My only thing is just like. You can't. It just ties into like how fake this rap shit is, though. It's like this is what I never make no statement type shit to the police and all. Yes, you did.
Right.
You were yes, ma'am, and the judge up and down, left and right. So like,
of course, they clipped the bars here. A bar they clipped from one of his bars where he said
I fell down to my knees.
No, not even that, but that's a Dirk joke. When they clipped the bar that Gunna was saying in the song, how he never turned on his boys, he never say nothing to put nobody in a bad position or something like. Basically, saying he wouldn't snitch in the bar, and they kept playing that shit. I was like,
yeah, I mean, I don't. From my point of view, I don't have an issue with it because it's like, all right, you getting some shit straight. I know you won't really connect to any of this stuff, but at the same time, it's just looking at it like, but look what you're telling everybody else to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look at the example you set, and then you go on and get your own.
Smart.
Right. And you go on and get your own shit, and you got the top notch lawyers and shit like that to get you out of these type of situations. Mm-hmm. Not everybody in the street. Or nobody in the street has it. Point. So that's my issue with this whole WWE rap shit. Again, these rappers are not who they say they are. Jay-Z never sold no coke like that. Jeezy won't get in it for 17.5. That's an unreal number. It's just rap lyrics, and then until people start looking at it like that, like this is just rap, they'll never really understand, and they'll take all of this shit too serious and act as if Gunna won't supposed to snitch like he was supposed to, because Gunna won't about that life to begin with. Thug probably should have never had him around any of that.
Well, I don't think Gunna is a snitch. I think Duval posted something where he said we shouldn't be labeling Gunna as a snitch until Thug says it. Because Thug is in a position where if he did, it would affect him. That's who they want to get. They want to get Thug. Thug is the main person that they want to take down for these 30 years on this RICO charge. Because he's supposedly the head of all of it. So, I don't think he snitched. I think as a snitch, he has to be a witness in Thug's case and actually say shit that Thug did in his trial.
That incriminates him.
I think he cooperated by just saying that YSL was a gang, which is what they was denying the whole time that it was a gang.
But isn't that snitching, though? But isn't that one part enough to snitch? That's enough to get... All they're trying to do, because YSL, this whole time, you can say, this is a label.
That's the
This
thing I
is
think that's
not
been the
a
most
game.
hung up on is that he said that it's a game. He was the first one to say that they are actually a game in front of the court.
Right, and this is not just anybody that's affiliated with it.
Right.
This is a guy who was with Young Thug every day. Pretty much, you could paint the picture out that
his
to be
first
like
big
that.
artist,
Right, this is a guy who would know if YSL was a gang or a label. You get what I'm saying? So that in itself, I don't get how you can't define that part as because he. Regardless if he wasn't involved in any of the shit, he knew it was taking place and what could come of it, of his involvement. You know what I'm saying? The consequences that might happen. So in that case, it is snitching because you could have just been an affiliate and said, you know what, y'all gonna do y'all thing over there. I'm not really gonna claim this shit. You know what I'm saying? We still cool, but I know what y'all got going on. Blah blah blah. I just find my own way.
But now you're stuck with that position of. Do I not just say this one thing to cooperate so I can get out, or do I just take whatever these few years there's gonna give me by not saying that? That's the dilemma he's put in. So I don't like, even with the we should wait on Thug to say it. If he did, I don't think Thug is never gonna say it. Because he's fighting the case. So he's not going to say nothing to call him a snitch like he going to do something or he's mad at him because that's going to hurt his case that he's in right now.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody else talking about it and they said it like really succinct way of if Doug calls him a snitch, to be a snitch you have to be admitting to something of guilt. Mm-hmm. So him calling him a snitch is admitting that something was bad that he told about.
Exactly.
So he's got to stay silent in that regard. Yeah. But yeah, I saw his sister or something had told people quit calling him that and had kind of stood up for him. I don't know, again, if that is trying to help his case or if she really was standing up for him or what. But
one of the other members was Big Duke or something. I think he's like the CEO of the label or whatever. He did the same thing, did the same plea deal and did the same thing in court.
Oh, yeah?
And I've been seeing people like really more mad at him than they are at Gunna or some shit. I don't know, maybe he was more so involved than Gunna was or something. But I've been seeing a lot of people saying shit like, it's crazy, like how people they really was around to use us as protection or to be a part of the name or the brand of what YSL was down in Atlanta or whatever. And now the shit turned up, everybody turning away and taking these plea deals or whatever. So I've been seeing people taking different sides, and it's just
look, bro. This is a Fed case.
Fed, by the way. State Fed.
Yeah, but let's be real.
Well, state RICO. It's not a Fed case.
It's
a state. It's a state RICO.
Or state RICO, whatever.
That'd be a different situation.
Regardless of if having a RICO, regardless, this starts with snitching. It didn't. Everybody's gonna fold and take a plea. That's how these go. And
that's what they want. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it starts with snitching. How do you think they got the phones tapped? You get what I'm saying? Like, it starts with somebody snitching. That's how these RICO cases get built. They have an informant to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, what do you expect from these guys going forward? I expect more information. I expect people to tell more than that, but we'll see. I guess, if just saying, I think all they wanted was a couple people to agree that it was a gang because that solidifies their case against Young Thug right there. But they probably, if they wanted to, they could have squeezed Gunna for any amount of information they wanted to, probably.
They could.
Out of the situation. And I think he probably gave up a lot more than what we saw in court, but I guess we'll see. Because
if he did,
his sentence is super light. For somebody whose bond was continuously denied and, all of that going for, it's just hard for me to see him getting out with only serving 6 months and having to do community service. So, without, like I said, turning over some stones for the prosecution.
Did y'all see that lyric that Dirk had, and I think it was a new song from Friday? About the case?
No, I didn't see that.
I was trying to find it just now. I might misquote this, but what I had read was he said something on a new song that he was featured on, where he said something about I should be a part of the RICO because I told every name of the people I've killed or something like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why would you put that in a song right now while all that is going on? I really wish I had kept
he
the
just
quote.
beat a case. He beat a murder case with him and Vaughn.
Yeah, well, they put it on Vaughn.
Because Vaughn did, so.
Because Dirk's never killed anybody. That's why he can say stuff like this. You know.
Okay,
like,
I mean that would make sense as an answer to my question.
This is saying any rapper that you know that's really suspected of doing some street shit, then you will see that probably today. Either they dead or in jail or, at least have a long record of going in and out of jail. I don't really know of that for Dirk like that. So,
yeah, I don't know. Like I say, he just beat murder case because Vaughn is dead. So he's been associated with some things happening.
Right, but we know Vaughn was associated with a lot of murders.
For sure. He actually beat him. Well, he did murder somebody.
Yeah, he was associated with a lot of murders. And they pinpointed him as a trigger guy after he died for another murder in Chicago. So we know what he was doing. But again, the guys who are really doing this shit, they're either dead or in jail type shit. Like they're not still out here rapping about it. Right. It's just the reality of the shit. So any rapper that's been in the game talking about this shit crazy and they ain't done no jail time in the last 5-10 years, they're not doing any of this stuff.
Sure.
So that's just like I said.
I'd hope not.
Right, for sure.
Dirk had a 10-year career. If they would have got him, they would have got him. By now, if he did something.
Right. Last question. Do you think, what do you think the reception is for Gunna moving forward as far as his music career?
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah?
I think
people will be fine with that?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Oh, they're going to make excuses.
It's not a 6-9
Hip hop's
situation.
going to make excuses because they pick and choose.
Out the gate.
They pick and choose who they want to. Gunna's already within the infrastructure of he's insulated within this hip hop community already. He's a star within that. So they're gonna pick and choose. Like if it was what was that little guy's name from Philly? Pop Hunter or the Ferrari or what was that TikTok song?
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now.
That
Corvette.
Yeah. Thank you. That song, whatever. That dude, they pretty much banished him from the rap game because they found out he snitched when he was like 14 years old or something like that. Gotcha. And we just witnessed his best friend getting shot, and then nobody all of a sudden want to work with him because he told the cops who shot his best friend at his own house.
I mean, that wasn't that hard. He's literally a one-hit wonder. So
right, but for that reason though, because nobody wanted to work with him in the hip hop game, and like his whole career was discredited because of that. But they're not going to treat Gunna the same way. A grown man.
Situations. Gunna's not a brand new, just came out this year artist. He's had a couple years under his belt. He's reached
but still, the standard. I'm just talking about the standard of.
The point is like, don't say
you're not supposed to
100% anti-snitch if like somebody being successful can make exceptions.
Yeah, nobody.
Like, it shouldn't matter if you're popping or not.
I think the people that accept him don't care about this snitch shit.
I see what you're saying.
I think the people he has a lot of fans that don't give a fuck about.
We're not talking about fans. I'm talking about people within the industry that are supposed to be these gangster rappers that are still do a feature with Gunna tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these guys who are supposed to be standing on business.
Gibbs ain't fucking with him.
Gibbs got his own police problems to worry about. But it's clearly a double standard when it comes to that. And I think that is the biggest point that I think people should have took away from the 6ix9ine situation. Is just like, again, how theatric this whole rap shit actually is or whatever. And he really exposed a lot of rappers when he was calling them out and saying like, look, they're not gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys aren't real like you think they are, type thing. But for some, I get why he's
I get all that, but the people around
shunned away from the rap game.
The people around those rappers will. So he does that because playing into the fucking with rapper shit. Because the rapper ain't the one that's gonna do the shit. It's his man's behind them that's gonna fuck you up when he's. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how the shit goes.
But his man can't even do that in certain cases because the rapper still goes down for that.
I know they can.
The rapper still goes down for that though if they find any. This is how RICO charges are built. You get what I'm saying? It's at the rapper's order. It's just like everything that Young Thug is dealing with right now. So if you do these things, it's consequences that follow. That's all I'm saying.
Sure, but it's like with the Freddie Gibbs shit. Like he got touched for talking crazy. The people he was beefing with squads put hands on him and shit like that. Like,
But he got beat
got
up,
necessarily kill him. If they kill him, it'd be something different. But getting a little touched up, you got to stand on that a little bit.
I mean, but the people who touched him up were the actual rappers themselves too.
Oh, yeah, it was involved a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he got jumped, but yeah,
it's
a couple times.
Just the rapper. It
I
was
feel
the
like
whole crew.
Freddie Gibbs got jumped like twice in a 3-month span.
Yeah, by 2 different crews.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. It can happen if you're gonna still maneuver regular, like, and be talking shit on the internet.
Yeah,
you can't get touched.
It's a double standard in hip hop when it comes to all of this.
Yeah,
like you said, this street code shit is silly.
Yeah, I would say
as fuck because
there needs to be a fine line. That shit needs to be separated. I get it. Most successful rappers come from the streets, the street life, and that's what they talk about in this and the third. But once they become rappers, we got to remove is they really doing this or is they really like? No, he's a rapper now. He's in front of your face every day. You can see wherever he's going to be in his tour days. He's not going to, if he's smart, he's not doing street shit still and maneuvering as a rapper. So there needs to be a fine line separating that
what
shit.
I'm saying though is if they continue to work with Gunna, I don't want to hear this we don't talk to police lyrics in these songs and stuff like that. I don't want to hear this anti-12 lyrics in the songs. I want to hear somebody talk about, I cooperated to get out of my to get a lesser charge. Because I mean, that's the reality.
I'd settle for just not doing the first thing.
Yeah, or
I understand
something.
they're not going to rap about what
Probably
they
not.
did, but you could just drop the fuck police on every song.
Fuck rats, kill death to all rats,
right,
and all of this stuff. A lot of them in their crews, they got rats in their crews. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. A lot of them work for rats. Rock Nation, the CEO, one of the ladies, she was one of the biggest snitches in like drug cartel history.
Rock Nation, yeah, I know you're talking about.
So she worked closely with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And Meek Mill and all of these other people.
But again,
so don't tell me you don't like rats.
This is people that are so far removed from the street life, so it's like that shit shouldn't matter no more. But people still try to make it like it matters.
It's not the people that place that standard out there, though. Like, we don't expect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they talk about and what we assume that they would do because this is what your music is all about. So I would assume, you're not making no statements. But the first thing Gunna put out was this paragraph about, I have not talked to police, I have not agreed to it, I have not made any statements. And then the video coming out of him clearly making statements.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am is a statement. You're agreeing to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're cooperating. Like, don't come out here, like, you really think people are that stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
People are.
Yeah, I mean, they are, unfortunately. But
stick to the story because there's not that many people.
It's still people out there who's like, no, you didn't say anything to police. Like, what is this video of him agreeing with the judge?
He cooperated.
That's all it is. And like, let's just be honest about this shit. Like, people want to come home. Like, ain't nobody trying to do no time. So stop promoting this shit. Like, it's not normal. Because it is. It's more normal than somebody saying, I'm going to sit here and take 20 years, 30 years when I can get out, in a year time.
I feel that. I feel that.
True.
Well, we've gone over quite a bit on that talk. So if you want to mention any of the new music?
Oh, Mrs. the new music.
We got 9 minutes left, including samples. So
I can go through.
You just mention anything you wanted or people should check out.
The new Ab-Soul album, fire.
I gotta get
Top
to that
Dog.
for sure.
Ab-Soul first album he dropped in like 6 years or some shit like that.
That's what I heard.
Long ass fucking time, which is I guess falls right in line with Top Dog artists. But he hit the mark. It's just a solid album. Like, he has some fire tracks on there. I like that joint. Rapping his ass off, of course, some dope beats. Not too many features, but the features make sense that he got on there. Bunch of singing artists. Mostly because he got this one track with Russ and Big Sean.
He's got Russ on there twice. I saw
that song right there is crazy. They were spitting on that joint. I think like Big Sean shined on both of them because he had one of them like whole verses on God did, like he was just going crazy. Mad different flow changes and shit. So Big Sean was stupid on that one. But solid album. Just check that shit out. Herbert, Ab-Soul. Okay. That joint dropped. Dolph first posthumous album drop. Shit hard. If you fuck with Dolph, just all them type of bangers on there. Lil Durk compilation album, Only the Family joint drop. That shit pretty solid. Durk sounding shit, drill sounding shit all over there. Your boy dropped the album, no cap.
Oh yeah.
You check that joint out yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't listened to a lot of
No cap dropped one out there.
rap music
That shit
lately.
pretty solid.
Listen to anything else? Or just not listen to music?
I haven't listened to a ton of music in general, but if I do, it's been like a lot of older stuff like that. I haven't listened to a lot of rap.
Word.
So I'm on a quest.
Understood.
What kind of older stuff?
R&B type, you know.
Nice.
So
I like listening to older music. That's what I end up doing a lot now too.
Yeah,
listening to that love frequency
Okay.
kind of music,
Okay.
you know,
Nothing wrong with that. Check out that SZA album too. It's pretty good.
maybe.
It's pretty good. If you're in that vibe. Or
Maybe.
whatever.
I told you I canceled my Spotify. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Rapidy rap albums just dropped. Fucking Bodie James dropped the album, and Ransom dropped, and Alchemist. So if you're into that barred up shit,
Ransom stage dropping.
them Jones solid. Yeah, Ransom dropped like fucking 10 albums a year. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All the new shit that dropped.
That's what's up.
And that A Boogie album that dropped a couple weeks ago, that shit is crazy. Like I went back and listened to it again. That shit hard. I know y'all only fuck with A Boogie, but
Still ain't heard it.
real solid ass project on there. He did his thing.
He's one that I really didn't like at first, and I've listened to a lot more. I kind of like him. Not a favorite, but I might check it out.
Yeah,
might
he
check
did
it out. He's solid.
Drowning 2, Part 2 with Kodak on there.
I did see that on Instagram.
I heard that song. I've only listened to it once though.
Yeah, it's a solid project though. I fuck with A Boogie.
That's what's up.
That's about it though. Quick run through. Oh, shout out my boy G Perico. You know, I fuck with my boy G Perico from the West because dropped the album South Central. That shit hard. If y'all fuck with some West Coast vibes, go check that shit out. I fuck with G Perico.
It's a unique sound right there.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can't get into that one.
That shit hard. That shit hard though. But that's it. That's all we got.
Anything else?
That's about it, ain't it?
Yeah, nothing for me.
Oh, at this point, we're going to go over with the samples. So
That's fine.
it is what it is. This Amarie Stoudemire thing is wild.
Oh, you got some, yeah.
He puts out a statement yesterday where he's like,
What's that, the charges? He got charged for
domestic violence, against this
his
child,
daughter, yeah.
14-year-old or
Yeah.
something like that, 13.
Mm.
He puts out a statement basically like, yesterday I was arrested for domestic violence or whatever against my kid. Nothing happened the way that it's being portrayed.
No.
I'm a man of Jewish faith. I wouldn't do anything to anybody else that I wouldn't do to myself. Something of that nature. Just kind of like, it was a weird statement because it was like very straight to the point. I don't know. It seemed like he was very confident that nothing happened. And then almost instantly later, it's like, there's the police report is that he punched her in the face for saying what on a phone call to grandma rather than yes ma'am, and she had blood on her face and shit like that. Like obviously nobody knows what happened yet, but it's a wild allegation.
Wow. Don't be talking back to Granny.
Did y'all hear anything about it?
Nah, this is the
Yeah,
first I've heard of that.
I ain't
That's
hear
just
the-
wild to me though.
I ain't hear the full story.
I mean, black people, we take that shit way too serious. This yes ma'am and yes sir shit. Look, I mean, you can speak with respect and not, call everybody ma'am and sir. I'm in full belief of that. There's some slave master psychological stupid shit that we're trained to do.
I
But
don't know if we can do that. Like, you don't be saying what to your granny and shit on the like. She didn't deserve to get punched.
Right.
right, but it's
I
not
said
a
that,
curse word though.
But you
and-
don't what your granny.
Right. Everything's different when you're looking at tone. Anything can sound bad based on tone or,
Sure.
same thing.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know what the conversation was or what happened and stuff like that, but just speaking in general, that shit is just stupid to, I don't know, discipline so, like, hardly or harshly, I think is
That's
just
definitely too far.
it's just something that I think has just been going on for a long time, not just this situation. But, if it did happen, he's just a terrible father.
Yeah,
It's just,
completely agree.
What else can you say? You're
gave-
probably a bad father, bro.
He said some kind of response about like she had just gotten a whooping. And,
How old is his daughter?
I believe 13 is what I had read. And the whole whooping, spanking, that whole thing is weird now because it has become a thing where you like can get arrested for it.
Yeah.
I was spanked as a kid, and I probably will spank my kids. I'd still believe in that at a certain level.
At some point, I got to put hands on
it. But
you.
A whooping is not a punch in the face. That's a wild correlation.
That's a fight.
If that's true.
You can spank. It's legal to spank your kids, by the way. But you're not allowed to like beat them up.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
very big difference.
You don't want to leave a mark.
Right. I mean, right. I mean, that's you can spank your children.
You're going too far.
You're going too far. You just are. You know when they got like these serious whelps and like cuts and shit from you. No, I mean
that's abuse.
I've never felt like. My hand won't enough to get the point across.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
My hand tapping your tail or your leg is gonna let you know this dude about business, and that's all it ever takes. And I've I don't know. I guess child abuse happens all the time and shit like that, and it's a terrible thing. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know what gets a person to that point to be like, I really want to knock you the fuck out as my child. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you gotta walk away. You gotta walk away.
That's a crazy.
To that point.
That's just crazy right there.
That yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir thing. I'll be honest, that wasn't anything we did. I wasn't really taught that.
It's not a white people thing.
Nah, as I got when we were
I wasn't either really. I didn't have the yes ma'am, no sir.
Nah, definitely not with my parents. And to be honest with you, like they didn't even really teach me that like as like just a respect for authority thing. Like just being polite and respecting authority was sufficient.
Right.
There wasn't.
Why
do we
have to add these ma'ams and sirs and shit? It's almost, I think, just another layer of I don't know, like psychological domination over the child and shit. It's like, oh no, you're not only gonna say yes, you're gonna say yes, sir. Like some military.
When you said it. I had never thought about it, but when you
that's what the military does to people and shit. It's like. As far as it's all the psychological. You're gonna obey authority type thing, and it's just part of that falls in line with it is putting that extra layer on there of sirs and ma'ams and stuff like that.
I think it might be dying out a little bit though. I feel like people that was like raised by real older parents or raised by grandparents could have that like yes ma'am, no sir thing with it because I've been dealing with really older people. So that's how they was raised to raise children or whatever. So I think that might have something to do with. I think more of these younger kids ain't really got that shit. I think they talk just however they talk. Like
it doesn't seem.
It should be
way.
like even with my daughter, she be hitting me with like, "Come on, bro," or hit me with, like, "Yo, don't talk to me like that. I'm not your bro. I'm your dad." It be a certain level where it's like you ain't got yes sir me and shit, but you ain't about to bro me either.
As long as my children talk to adults politely, when they're supposed to, and if they do feel like they need to get rude with an adult, they need to come get me. But like as long as they talk to an adult politely, I'm not stressing that whole yes sir, yes ma'am shit, and not say that's a bad thing.
Right,
that's fine if that's what you say. So you good, respectful young person, but at the same time, I'm not policing it that kind of way because I don't think it's good for their development and like empowerment and shit like that. Just one of those things.
I remember when I lived in North Carolina. That was when, like, when I first became aware of it, because it is a Southern thing where they say yes, ma'am, and all that stuff a lot more frequently. Mm-hmm. And I would be like, I just felt different. I was like, I don't say that. Why do they do that? What are y'all doing?
Those comes seem kind of extra. Like, get the fuck out my way.
Yeah, I mean, I was
talking to each other.
I was a kid in New York, so I didn't pick up that part neither. But it was never taught. That was never taught to me as a kid. So kids in school, yes ma'am, yes sir. I was like,
definitely some Southern shit.
I don't know. That seems weird to me. I would just say yes.
Everybody greeting everybody and polite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of celebrities and their kids, since we're running over a little bit anyway. Y'all see that Masterpiece shit?
I did.
And Lil Romeo?
I did. I find this very interesting.
Lil Romeo apparently comes out. He's saying that he said that they've been living like most of his siblings live check to check, and that I guess their dad's not really doing anything for him. And he's saying like he said a statement about him living in the same house since He's been living in the same house since he was 18.
Romeo said
like
he's been selling rap snacks for 15 years, and he's just now about to get a check for it.
Yeah, he said he hasn't really gotten any money from his music and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought some of what he was saying was like, it seemed true to me. I don't have any I don't have anything other than just vibes that I'm going off of.
Yeah.
But it seems like a kid that I've always said it seems like it would be difficult growing up as a rapper's child.
Right.
For sure.
And it seems like, there's a lot of focus on all of the money that is provided to the family. Mm-hmm. And, I'm making this, I'm giving you this, I gave you a house, I gave you a car, I gave you all this stuff. But kids need their parents, like on an emotional parent level as well. And it seemed like what a lot of Romeo was saying was like, you aren't there. We can't talk. You won't respond to calls.
Yeah,
I have to put this on
Yeah.
Facebook for you to even respond to me, kind of thing. I felt bad for him. I don't know that it's all true. Like, I don't think Master P is a piece of shit or nothing right now, but it doesn't look great.
Did y'all ever watch that No Limit doc that they did like a year or two ago?
No, I watched.
I feel like I watched a little bit.
No,
of it.
I did.
Yeah, we did watch it.
If you went in that and Master P's history, he's quick to like cut people off, even the closest people to him, like of when it comes to like money and shit like that.
I forgot about that.
So I could see him doing the same thing to Romeo at some point. Like, I think Romeo's like 30-some years old.
Well,
now.
that's what he said. He released a statement. Master P did.
Yeah, I seen that.
He said that he's been trying to contact him, but he hasn't been answering his calls or whatever.
Right.
But Master P was just pretty much saying like, hey, at what point do I have to keep on doing for people, and they just keep taking and taking? Like, he's saying like, man, you talking about like money problems and stuff like that, but he like, man, what other kid had the opportunity you had or whatever to, he said like, I did everything I could to make you the guy, like the biggest person that you could possibly be or whatever. And this is just how he's repaid. He seemed like a father that was really hurt from the things that Romeo said. So I don't really know which side of it to look at, because I can see what you're saying about the emotional part, like just as far as
money just doesn't
mentally.
Yeah,
right. He might have not been stable in those situations. He probably might have just needed a hug or something. You never know.
Yeah.
But I also see where Master P's coming from too. Is just like, look, I got spoiled kids, and they expect for me to be there and do all of this stuff for them all the time. And it gets to the point where it's like, bro, you're 30 now. Like, I done everything I could for you at this point.
Okay.
I done gave you a platform to where you shouldn't be living this way no more. And I mean, if you're around Master P all the time, I would assume you soaked up a lot of game of how to maneuver and to make money in different ways, because that's all he's done. He's not just getting rap checks
or not.
No more.
I think that's what Romeo was saying. I think it's a perception that he's doing all this, but he never was that to us. He just brought the bacon home. Like, it was on them shits. Maybe he just felt like he wasn't giving them the game through all these years. He was just providing money and providing a place to stay and all this shit like that.
I don't think that's true though, because I mean, I think him and his other two sons, Percy and whatever his name is, they rhyme, I think, but
Mercy,
something like that.
Let's go Percy and Mercy.
He started them like an ice cream business or something. Like, they got their own ice cream business. So I mean, I feel like he's put them on game before.
Well, what kind of led me to believe what I was saying is, from what I saw, the first thing that Romeo had shared online, like to get his attention, was talking more about mental health of other family members, and he was calling out the fact that he would like Master P had made some kind of statement about that dude Twitch that had just committed suicide, and he was saying like, you out here posting stuff about this man that you didn't even really know, and our own family's got people that you just disrespect their mental issues and stuff like that. And then there was a response back, and then I believe in the comments of what Master P had responded back with is when Romeo had brought up, like, I still hadn't even gotten paid for stuff. And that's where he mentioned the money thing. But Master P's initial response was kind of money-based. Yeah. So that's what I was saying, just like my interpretation of it was, it seemed like his initial thing was like, I'm really hurt that you don't care about our family. And Master P was like, I provided for you. And then he mentions the money stuff. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's you're getting one side of the story, or you're getting a version that both sides want you to know. I'm sure that there is things that the kids have done to be spoiled kids that are like, I expect this, that, and the third. But I've just always thought that with famous people, there's kind of there's a sacrifice that the family takes. This goes for athletes and stuff too. Not that there's anything wrong with being an NFL quarterback for 20 years, but your family does sacrifice in that you're not around like a normal parent would be. And good for you that you're making an incredible career and building this legacy. But ultimately, when you're 70 years old, are you going to look back and say, you know, my time with the Patriots and Bucks was so special to me, and my kids aren't that close to me anymore? Or are you going to wish that you did things differently? It's just a question.
Was it worth it? At the end of the day, Hov said it best. Nobody wins when the family feuds. At the end of the day, it's still your dad, still your son. Y'all going to have to work this shit out.
It's a little nasty doing it online. True. Yeah. But I'm glad you brought that up. I had just read that yesterday. Very interesting. I forgot to jot it down though.
Wild story. I didn't see that one coming.
Nah, me neither. Anything else here before we do samples? Don't be mad at me. I don't have one. It was busy week this week.
No. Let's go. I got a sample.
Let's go. Hey, back-to-back weeks.
We'll give you the floor then. But if you're on YouTube, we appreciate you watching. We'll be back next week. I believe I was going to talk to y'all about Christmas situation. We'll be back soon regardless.
We'll work it out.
And if you're on the audio, we still got one sample coming. So we appreciate you.
Peace.